Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Ultras podcast. I'm here with Callan and Kevin Wu, and we'll be chatting about the week's news, well, the weekend's news. Wonderful. How you doing, lads? Callan?
All right, I'm good.
Kevin, how are you over there in Guadalajara?
It's pretty nice. I'm still waiting for the movers to move my new throne in. So it's gonna be another 6 to 8, they say, 6 to 8 weeks, and it's not pleasant. It's not pleasant. I'm going to tell you right now. The tourists.
Yeah, and there's no accounting for fame or that kind of thing, or your position and rank and that.
Well, and that's the thing. I keep bribing them. I've extorted them. I've bribed them. I've done all these things, and still, it's like this the same thing. 6 to 8 weeks. We can't make it go any faster. Please just let me go. I won't tell anybody. Things like this. It's like I just can't get the respect I deserve.
No, I feel you there. I feel you. Nevertheless,
I bet you Salman the bastard is behind this.
Oh, of course he fucking is. Right?
Yeah.
Like his open hiring to new executioners was a direct, it was a direct reference to me. I know this. All right. I have sources within the Saudi Arabian Pentagon, and it's the same. Well, there's more like a hexagon, but it's anyway. So I have sources within it. They're all saying the same thing. He's trying to piss me off. So what I did was, he brings an ambassador around to talk a truce. I mean, if you're in the duchy, you already know all this, but he's calling for a truce, and I was so insulted that I arrested him. So now we're figuring out, what's his fake gonna be, so it's like I'm just sick of Salman. It's like, oh, I want to stop this war. I just want you to please stop killing my people, things like that, and it's
the man is a coward.
He's an absolute coward.
Come here to Guadalajara, and we'll do whatever the hell Kevin wants to do to you.
Well, it was like I was saying the other day. Defection is just slavery by consent.
Yeah, it's I maintain we should feed him into an industrial grade grinder. Eat first.
Yeah.
You said something about filling him with some sort of chemical and then putting him in a room with a bunch of feminists.
Right. I'm looking for it right now. I can't remember, but it was. I hope it was clever, at least. I was going to inject him with sodium pentothal, which is truth serum, and then I was going to lock him in a room with him.
Brilliant. Moving swiftly on, the internet aristocrat, or Mr. Metacore, as he pretends to be these days.
Why did he change his name?
Beg pardon? Sorry, carry on.
Well, he has several times. Like, I don't if you ever see Internet Archive, he's changed his name like 6 to 8 times in the last few years. He changes his name about once a year, and he starts up a new channel, and then he does a bunch of things, and he shuts that channel down, and then he starts a new one. It's been his pattern since like at least 2009.
All right, fair enough. Yeah. All right then.
Yeah, just checking on my jacket.
Yeah, okay. Excellent. No, but that was a very unusual stream last night. And quite surprised us, didn't it?
Well, the chat was more interesting than the actual stream.
Yeah, the chat was very interesting. Yeah, because he was having this very sensible, very grown up, and a conversation with two trans people from Gamergate, and
I didn't know Sophia Eris was trans.
Beg your pardon?
I didn't know Sophia Eris was trans. I was really surprised when I found that out.
Oh, right. Yeah. Well, yeah. They gave a very good account of themselves because they didn't come over as this sort of SJW types. And this is why I think he was sort of powerful and important, really, because it's an interesting new front and breaks their narrative very, very much in the same way that Women Against Feminism breaks the narrative. When you say that, when trans people show that they're not all interested in wild SJW
stuff.
stuff. Yeah, and going around bashing everyone.
Mm.
Anyway, they dispelled an awful lot of myths and, and busted up the narrative. So I recommend that people should give that a listen and give it a share and that kind of thing. But it was kind of unusual for him as well.
Mm. Usually it's weirder stuff.
Yeah, I've noticed his new stuff has been a lot more challenging, and a lot kind of more serious and that kind of thing. It's like the other week when he was doing that thing on that weird guy
The
who
file.
tried, yeah, yeah, who started playing with his poop and stuff like that. I just, oh,
Just don't go there, please.
yeah. But that left me feeling kind of, whoa, what was that then? What did I hear? Was that brilliant or was that just fuck? And so it has been a lot more sort of challenging his stuff that he's been coming out with lately. So I don't know. I don't know where he's going. It's interesting though. Interesting.
Mm.
I mean, I thought this is the kind of stuff that is going to cause more problems on the SJW side of the fence than it is on our side of the fence. Do you know what I mean? This tests their prejudices more than it tests our prejudices.
Mm.
You know, or this tests their tolerance of other people's opinions more
God.
than it tests our tolerance of other people.
Oh God. Get this from
Yeah.
Brianna Rue.
Yeah.
My husband Frank has 4 Hugo Awards. Half of everything he owns is mine. Ergo, Brianna Wu has 2 Hugo Awards.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Brianna Wu has 2 Hugo Awards.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah. No, Brianna Wu has 2 of someone else's Hugo Awards.
mm.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, exactly. Like if someone stolen two, I mean, the thief could say, "Hey, look, I have 2 Hugo Awards." You know, like
Yeah.
you
But
know.
well, it's just so like graspy and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, I'm just craving recognition here.
Well, I'm sure she meant like I'm sure they meant it as a joke, but the fact is, the pattern we've seen from them so many times before, it just doesn't sound like a joke. Like you can't convince people, when you've said just completely insane stuff so many times in the past that when you are trying to be funny, that you're not just still being insane.
Yeah.
We want to get Vox Day and Larry Correa to go over and like pester her and harass her for stolen valor. So you're not a science fiction writer. You haven't earned this. You're going around pretending that you're a science fiction writer. This is shameful. Like,
No. Well, the problem is that Frank Wu isn't a science fiction writer, as far as I know either. He's an artist, supposedly.
oh right. Oh, I don't know any sad puppy artists. Shit.
Mm.
But it's
Well,
stolen valor, isn't it?
yeah.
Shameful. Brianna Wu, she comes out with the maddest though. There's no half stepping with her. She will.
Yeah.
If she wants to make a preposterous claim, it will be, "I have 2 Hugo Awards! Yay!"
Well, and
Mm.
here's the thing: it's like Frank, he didn't even win like legitimate artist awards. He won fan artist awards. So like it's on the bottom line of things you can actually win in the Hugos. So like, why would you even like boast about having 2 of someone else's bottom tier rewards? Like it doesn't make a lot of sense in all honesty.
Mm.
It is a big bad badge of sadness, isn't it? I mean, she's presumably trying to provoke people into making the science fiction crowd roar at her because she needs to write an article about science fiction, and she wants people to know down.
Yeah, it was a
That's
screen captain.
Yeah, that's what I presume.
It
She
was a
wants to insert herself into science fiction. Actually, could this be another of the signs of them all trying to bail ship and that kind of thing? Maybe she's trying to find relevance in another market.
Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me because Rev 60 was such a total flop.
Yeah, Rev 60 was a flop. Gamer Ranks is flopping and has made Ian Chung turn around and have a change of heart. Lee Alexander is not doing all that well on Boing Boing and Off World. And then you've got Lifshitz and Zoe Quinn saying, "Why can't we get jobs?" Other people have found that they can't get work anymore. A lot of them must be thinking, "Shit, it is over. It's dangerous to be us now. It's all fucked up." I hope they are. If you're listening,
Oh, this is great. I just looked up, trying to look up, see if there's any news on Rev 62, any release dates, but unfortunately all I got was the Rev 60
yeah,
Wikipedia page, and this is a great nugget. Hold on, I'll bring it up on the screen share just
yeah.
let everyone see. This is pure evidence of the lack of reliability of Wikipedia. Due to a desire to include a rich storyline, emphasis was placed on character expression with more detail in the face and hair to avoid having to express emotion through a bunch of gesticulation.
So somebody's been fucking with a Wikipedia, is that it?
I don't know, I don't think so. It doesn't sound like someone's fucking with it. I think someone like
But that actually kind of upsets me because like that's such a hand waving away of poor technical skills. Like it's like, aha, this poor graphics was intentional.
Mm.
You were my target all along. It's
Yeah, it's meant to look shit. It's artistic, innit? All the
yeah.
kids want. Yeah. It harks back to the days of the PlayStation. Yeah.
yeah, and it's like I fucking go to Final Fantasy and there's plenty of expression.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm a real Final Fantasy fan. That series can do no wrong, in my opinion.
Hell, Skyrim characters have more expression.
Yeah.
All right, so Callan, I'm just going to tell you right now that you're the reason then that Square hasn't made a good game other than Bravely Default in the last few 5 to 10 years now.
Shut up.
And you know what? And you know what the best part about Bravely Default is? It's Square showing us that they can make a good game. They just don't want to.
Yeah.
It's what the audience want.
Yeah. Well, I give up.
The game was good. It's just I don't know. There's always someone who like people want a series, but it's not. Final Fantasy doesn't work that way.
What do you mean?
Like since when is like it took 10 games before any of them got a sequel.
Sure. I mean, the sequel that they did make was just pure fan service. Like I would hardly call it a sequel. And then they had 2 sequels for 13. And here's the thing: how can you have a sequel of a sequel? I mean, like it's poor numbering, right? So let's say you wanted to number something, right, and you wanted to have Lord of the Rings. Let's just use Lord of the Rings, right? Use each of the 3 books. So you'd have Lord of the Rings, Lord of the Rings 2, Lord of the Rings 3. But that's like if Lord of the Rings 2 was actually the 4th book from the Wheel of Time series, and Lord of the Rings 3 was, an instruction manual for a lawnmower, and then you had Lord of the Rings 3-2, which was Lord of the Rings 2. Like it's a completely messed up sequel system. Like you don't find that anywhere else. You don't find this like completely disjointed, disconnected, and just bizarre sequelizing system.
Yeah, well,
Sorry, go ahead.
I don't pay attention to that because don't judge a book by its cover. I have to admit, I actually like 13 quite a lot.
Oh, you do.
Yes, I do.
Then how can you say that when the entire game has you running through essentially a hallway? I mean, it was mocked, and rightly so, for being called Final Hallway, because the entire game takes place along a single corridor with a complete absence. Now, here's the thing: when Chrono Trigger got rid of random encounters, it was because the mechanism in the game made it so the random encounters were easily replaced by something else. Final Fantasy 13, it's so put together. It's so obviously put together, and it's so straightforward, without any creativity, without any spirit of what the Final Fantasy games are about.
I can see where you're coming from because I ran like 3 or 4, what I term gauntlets already, like just corridors with enemies placed along them.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
That's not what Final Fantasy is about. You know, there's no. I mean, the fact of the matter is, you know, excusing graphics. Yes, the new Final Fantasy games look really pretty, but excusing the graphics. I mean, you know, a 14-year-old can make better RPGs now in RPG Maker in under half, you know, in under a few hours. You know, so it's gotten to the point where you know the storytelling has completely lost itself. I mean, I defy anyone. I defy anyone to look me straight in the eye and say that Final Fantasy 13 had a story that made sense and was at the same time engaging, because it was neither. If you were engaged because you were so goddamn confused by what the story was that you had no choice but to keep yourself engaged in it. So I mean,
Yeah,
the whole story has completely lost itself. You know, and it's people who are still saying, "Oh, but I love Final Fantasy. I got it. You know, I hope they make more of them." That are allowing this to happen. That are allowing Square to just keep making absolute shit time and time again, and everyone just laps up. It's the same problem with the Star Wars franchise. People keep making video games,
yeah.
people keep making movies, even if they're shit, because the fanboys are so obsessed, with the material, they're so obsessed with the genre, well, not the genre, but the franchise, that they'll lap it up no matter how shitty it is, and that's Final Fantasy's problem. That's what's killing it. Where Final Fantasy should be today is along the lines where Bravely Default is. Today it's some weird amalgam of an action RPG and a completely messed up. I don't know what you would call it. Like it's completely lost what Final Fantasy is all about. It's like when you have a franchise, the idea is that all the games in that franchise are similar in concept.
yeah,
Final Fantasy 13 has nothing in common with, say, Final Fantasy 6, Final Fantasy 7. It has nothing in common with Final Fantasy 10 or 10-2 for that matter. The fact of it is, the last few Final Fantasies have completely lost the plot, have completely derailed into a game that's completely unrecognizable from the original. It's just
yeah.
it's a complete disaster. And if I was still, I mean, I used to love Final Fantasy. Was one of the central video game franchises of my childhood. And now I can't look anyone in the eye and say I'm a Final Fantasy fan, because of the way that Square Enix has completely fucked up the whole franchise. So it's by saying, I know it has its faults. What it is, it's become an abusive relationship. It's like, oh, Final Fantasy has its faults, but I still love it. That's not how it works. It's like you have to be tough. You have to be firm and say, look, Square, and you have to vote with your wallet, and not defend a franchise just because it used to be. That's my little rant, but I just wanted to get that off my
Yeah,
chest.
well, no, well, no, I can, yeah, no, but the thing is, they've been kind of using like roughly the same crew since Final Fantasy VII, at least. They should probably,
That,
they should probably
that
completely redo the crew and just kind of start again.
Well, I guess, but I mean, if it is the same crew, then it's even worse. And what it's saying is that the same people just become so bored with their jobs, they're just experimenting at this point to try to keep their interest in it. And you don't want disinterested members of your crew. So
Yeah.
either they've lost their minds, which I doubt, or they're bored of the series, so they're creating new experiments with what they can do with the series just to keep themselves interested in the process. In that
Yeah.
case, yeah, absolutely, I agree that you should have new faces, a new staff to make your games. I mean, I don't think a single person. And correct me if I'm wrong, please, but I don't think a single person from the core staff of Final Fantasy was on Bravely Default. And again,
Yeah.
I love Bravely Default. It's probably one of the best RPG games released in a long, long time. You know, and that's depressing, because I mean, it's a Final Fantasy game. But the fact is, because Final Fantasy as a franchise has been so fucked up, you can't call it Final Fantasy. And that's what's the
Yeah.
most irritating thing that there is. They fucked up Final Fantasy so much you can't call a Final Fantasy game Final Fantasy. So I
Yeah,
mean,
it's just another game with the same Chocobo tune in it. That's the only reason you know it's the same.
Well,
exactly.
to be fair, it's listed in the Final Fantasy wiki, so
Mm.
Well, that's because everyone knows that it's a Final Fantasy game, but Square Enix itself isn't calling it a Final Fantasy game because they fucked up the series so goddamn much.
Yeah,
yeah.
and the
What's it
proof of how bad the series has got is look how much SRH Butts loves Final Fantasy. I mean, that's got to be
Yeah.
proof how bad
No, I don't
it's
think so.
got.
She likes
It
Binding of
doesn't
Isaac
work.
as well.
Does she? Yeah,
I think.
but she literally likes binding up someone called Isaac.
She likes to take the bartender from the Love Boat and like wrap him around in bungee cords.
Yes,
And
and do things, unspeakable things to him. Yeah,
she likes to dress
which
him
is
up as
why
a
he ran
dog.
away to sea. Yes,
She likes to dress him up as a dog and keep him chained in her basement.
Oh
chained in the
God.
basement of the Love Boat in the brig. Yes,
she calls it the brick.
the brig. Yeah.
Sorry, just
What?
I'm trying to bring up that vid that we're going to talk about from JJ
Oh
Talk.
yeah, I've got that in another channel here actually. Do you want the link? I've
Yeah.
got it queued on an excellent picture of her looking really depressed.
Oh yeah, guys, get your screen caps at the ready because I'm probably going to find lots of really embarrassing faces of her.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Make this bigger.
Control Z, Control C, Control V. There we go.
And the same to you.
Control Z right back at you.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking of cut, but I was like, no, it needs to be cut.
And
That's good.
and that's
That's undo. Yeah.
That's Control Z to all our American listeners.
Yeah.
Z.
Well, it's Command Z for me because I'm a filthy Mac user.
Let's see.
All right, we've got her up.
Oh, yeah, that's a good picture of her. Yeah.
She's in the middle of something there.
Oh my.
Right, we should move on. Just spare her any
Yeah.
continued embarrassment. Am I
So
presenting?
essentially, should I give you guys the background to this? What's happened is this girl, JJ Talks, is sort of fairly new to the SJW YouTuber scene that includes people like John Tregborn, Jenny McDermott,
Captain.
Ryan Wiley, yeah, Zenistrad, whatever it is.
Master.
Yeah, Steve Shrives, the Matt Binder, the real axis of shitlords. And yeah, so she's new to this scene and sort of hanging out with them and getting into them and making podcasts. And she does make quite professional looking podcasts, and she makes a lot of them. And she's very, very vocal, which is what you need. That's how you build a fan base. So anyway, what has happened, or what she's kind of claiming it has happened, even though she's saying she's not saying names. There's been an awful lot of hints, and it's been an open secret or something. Apparently, someone called Sequester Zone, who's another podcaster of this ilk, and others have solicited nudes of her after sort of flirting with her in chat and that kind of stuff. And so she's called them out, sort of in terms of the SJW style. You're sexually harassing me, and so like when this happened, it sort of split things down the middle a bit. People like Steve Shrives came out in favour of her, and people like Jenny McDermott came out and said, well, no, I think this is more a case of a relationship that just tanked and she's got a bit arsey about it, sort of thing. Even though she said that sexual harassment is a very bad thing. So they've all, and I think Zenstrad has said stuff. A bunch of them have all, yeah, they've all made their little videos.
Of course they have. Of course they have.
Of course they have. And as well, names that have come up from JJ and others like Steve Strives are people like Thunderfoot and Sargon, and we know that like neither of those people will have ever asked her for fucking news. So I think they're calling out one of their own and doing this false association to others, not in their scene, and trying to implicate them as well.
Well, of course not, because like this is the social justice community. They don't do shit like this, except they do, and it's covered up.
Well, it's kind of being called out and kind of being covered up.
So can we see this movie? So can we see this video really quickly? Because I haven't seen it.
Yeah, that'd be an idea.
So just present Callum.
Oh, I thought I had.
No, you haven't.
What do I have to do that?
So you click on the right upper right corner of his picture and then press present.
Oh, present to everyone. Sorry, I hadn't done that. That should be presented to everyone then. Is it? You see a big ugly
No.
No?
No,
Let me try it again. Present to everyone. Right, pressing on it. It's just I don't know why that's not working. I can see it.
Can you see it, Kevin?
Well, now I'm clicking on your profile, so I'm just gonna quickly check if it is on is being presented. I think it is. I think it is. Probably is. All right. If you don't see it at home, we're sorry, but we're pretty incompetent with all this crap. So
I can test this. Let me click between presenting you and presenting Angry Irishman. Try again. Present to. See, I can't tell if that's changed at all either.
I think you are presenting them. I think you are presenting them because I just went on the YouTube. It looks like you are presenting them. So
right.
Take it away.
Let her rip. Yeah.
Okay.
Unleash the beast.
Balls.
Unleash your balls, then.
Okay. So today I was really planning on making a different video. I was gonna do a fun video about my hair, but for a while.
Is your hair really that interesting?
Her hair's a bit of a mess this morning. Yeah, we probably better not talk about her hair. That would be, I don't know, follicle blaming.
It'd be a little catty. All right, let's just continue and keep pausing. I'm gonna stab you.
Thinking about talking about something that I've experienced and a lot of other girls and people in general have experienced in the YouTube community, which is obviously sexual harassment. I don't want people to not watch this video because they don't want to be involved in drama, because I'm going to try to not talk about drama at all. There is one specific instance I'm going to talk about regarding recent happenings. I'm just going to talk about it for like 30 seconds, but I want to make one quick point about my relation to the drama and how I feel about how people have been treating me, and then I'll be done with that, I promise.
I think this legitimately has happened, judging by your reaction.
Well, you notice people who always go for drama always say, "I don't want drama," but it's always the same thing. It's like, oh, I don't, no drama, please. I don't like talking about drama, and then they immediately lay into a bunch of just really catty drama. I think it's the same case here. It's like.
I also love the length of video this is. It's also supposed to be a minute.
Well, there's your minute right there.
So, I really feel like, I want the social justice community, people who haven't experienced this or don't know that this is happening, to realize that this is happening, and it happens quite often. And I want us to come together on this and create.
Social justice warriors come together on something?
Yeah, that would be the day. They come together to argue, and then they go away again.
Yeah, they do.
It's funny how even they refer to themselves by the derogatory term used against them. I think that's just beautiful.
Yes.
Well, they're trying to appropriate it like we've appropriated cis scum.
No, they're not. They've always been called social justice warriors. Social justice has only recently been a dirty word. They just changed as soon as they realized we were using it as a dirty word. They're not stupid. They know how to demonize. They know how that works, and they know how you get out of it. You just change your name.
Yeah.
Cheeky fuckers.
Create a safe space for all YouTubers, particularly female YouTubers.
Oh yeah, of course.
How do you have a safe space on a website? Like a safe space is like an enclosed area.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? Like, how the fuck do you do that? Actually,
set your videos to private. That's the only thing that I can think of.
I think what she means is that their community implicitly was a safe space by the people who chose to join it, because either they were social justice or they weren't, and either they believe in non-harassment or they don't, and we all know they don't. But
yeah, they're all for it when it suits them, and then when we turn it against them, supposedly.
To be able to make videos and be in the community safely, because a lot of shit happens, and I know if you're a male YouTuber, you might not experience it as much, or you might not know this happens.
Yeah, male privilege for the win.
Yeah.
All, but it does.
Of course it does, despite the fact I'm going to provide no evidence of this event.
Happens to me, happens to my friends. And recent happenings with drama didn't necessarily involve this, but definitely spurred my thinking on the subject. You might know about the recent drama with Sequester Zone and another YouTuber. And I don't want to talk about that, but essentially...
We're going to talk about that, though.
What happened?
Yeah, she said Sequester Zone, didn't she?
And the only thing I have to say about this whole thing, without taking sides, is that he was accused of sexually harassing me, and every person that was told that he was doing this to me, or every person that stopped being friends with him, or decided to make a post about it, or a video about it because he was doing this to me, did not talk to me.
Okay, well, why is she saying I don't want to take sides when, by the definition of this whole thing, she is one of the sides? Like I don't want. I want to be a neutral in a conflict that relates directly to me. Like, it doesn't make any bloody sense at all.
She means no comebacks, doesn't she? Don't blame me for this shitty drama. I think we should give her a fucking medal.
Right, that's just like in like World War II, right? And England and Germany going at it, and then Germany decides I actually just want to be a neutral in this whole war. Like I don't want to be involved in any of this. It's like no, you don't understand. You're directly involved in this conflict. You can't.
Yeah, it's just you and Russia now. Germany's out.
What?
Yeah. Fuck, that is what happened.
What?
That is pretty much what happened.
Yeah.
It ended up as just a Cold War between the West and Russia. Shit, it's fucking Germans.
None of my friends. And I know some.
Well, now you're experiencing the bad side of listen and believe.
Yeah, witch hunts.
Point stopped becoming about his interaction with me and started becoming about whether or not public fighting was appropriate. But essentially, it did start with him being accused of sexually harassing me, and not one single person besides him asked me about it.
And this is also the problem with the white knight mentality.
Yeah, and this is her fucking problem. Why isn't she saying, no, he hasn't done a fucking thing to me? But she's not, is she?
No. Bear in mind, this is an accusation. There is no actual proof that he has done it. So maybe he didn't actually do it. And this is a load of horseshit.
Well, she could clear him, but... So he has done it. If she's not clearing him, he must have done it.
I mean, yeah, it's that again. It goes back to that whole I'm being neutral in this conflict that involves me. You've already declared these things. You can't go back on them.
Yeah. Yeah. She's amending. Yeah. One interesting thing I'd like to point out is if you look in the back there, yeah, you see that object. Now that's like one of those speakers on a pole, yeah, that generally like only disc jockeys and pole dancers have. So I reckon if you pull back, there'll be a pole in the other and a glitter ball and some mirrored curtains, and she'll have a camera up there, and she'll be doing pole dancing and all this shit for people, like as a part of her other career. And what's happened is he's found out and said, "Go on, then send us some dirty shots." So she's desperately trying to cover it all up.
Or she's the world's first nude disc jockey.
Yeah. This is why she's got no makeup on, so you don't recognise her as a porn personality. Yeah.
I'm really disillusioned and upset because I feel like the YouTube community, especially the social justice area, is supposed to be a safe place for people. And I would have thought that if someone heard he was doing that to me, they would immediately come to me and be like, "Are you okay? Can you explain what happened?" But no one cared. They came about little petty fights. So.
Well, this is what happens when you form a shark
Can
pit.
I have the nude too? Yeah.
They're finally someone is beginning to realize that why listen and believe is bad.
Well, I don't think they are. I think they're just using it. She thinks it's right.
Yeah.
That kind of upset me. But I feel like we need to stop doing that. And even though this was a circumstance in which I was not being sexually harassed.
She's cleared him.
Right. She's cleared him, yeah. Good girl.
Yeah, it was kind of, yeah.
Which I have. And I want to make my YouTube friends aware that this is an issue that happens, and I want them to be aware that it can be just as confusing and upsetting and gross as, you know, someone sexually harassing you in real life. And it's especially harmful because a lot of the people who are, you know, doing this to me and to my friends are people that are in the feminist community.
Yes.
Shocking. Yeah.
All these realizations are so earth-shaking that.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Which one of them do you think it is? Which one is the most likely to be the secret perv in the SJW community? Great topic.
Which one isn't? Which one isn't?
Which one is?
Jonathan McIntosh. I bet you he's a raging deviant.
Yeah. I would
say Chew. I would probably say Chew.
Yeah, no. Well, no, he's not technically YouTube though. But yeah, he was pretty much confirmed as a pervert.
I was on Jeopardy. Send me nudes. Yeah, I can see that.
I'll take those nudes for 1,000, Alex.
I can honestly say there are about 2, 3, maybe male YouTubers that I genuinely feel safe talking to.
But yeah, and just another thing, have you ever spoken to a cisgendered white heterosexual male before becoming an SJW?
Probably. There's a lot of us about.
Yeah, I know. But you just have to stop. I just find myself stopping and asking myself this question every so often.
And that sucks because this is supposed to be a space where we are, you know, we shouldn't have to worry about these things because we're all on the same page. That is shitty.
Yeah, but it's the internet. Like you can't. Okay, again, it's that whole how do you enclose yourself off from the internet? Like by putting this video out there on the internet, you've literally said the entire world, whoever has internet access can come and view this video. By that very definition, you haven't created a safe space at all. What you've done is you've created a public forum for you to boast your ideas, and this is what I think a lot of them don't understand. It's this: you can't just fence yourself off from the world when you've made it very public, very explicit about what you're doing.
Yeah.
I think it's wrong of Steve Shives to harass this poor little gender fluid boy. It's shameful. Man of his age. Terrible.
Sorry.
You know, they've been giving this lad drugs for years.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. His parents are distraught. It's a cruel scene in the SJW community.
MRAs and sexual harassment have been the ones who sexually harass me. If you're a YouTuber, you do not need to be sending unwarranted sexual messages to another YouTuber. This is people in general, but I'm referring to YouTube right now.
Yeah.
We don't need to, but we could be doing that.
You don't care enough to do that.
No, that's true.
You know, if you kind of flirt with them and they reciprocate, that's fine. See how it goes. But if this person has not flirted with you or indicated at all that they want your sexual messages, do not tell them that you are going to go masturbate to them. Yes, this happens, and not.
I don't get this thing. Like that just sounds like a very.
That's how we do it. We've got to find some.
Yeah, it's just crude.
So what she's complaining about is people watching videos and saying, "I am wanking as I watch your video."
Yes. For some reason.
I wonder how many times Sargon gets those messages.
A lot. Yeah. Or Milo.
Well, Milo might actually genuinely enjoy that, though.
Yes. And it genuinely happens. No, he has real sort of adoring stalkers, apparently. One particular guy follows him everywhere and tells him how wonderful he is.
Milo's just there, like, I can just
Yeah.
imagine Milo just being there. I like you.
Yes, you can hang around. I'm not going to ban you.
You're stroking my ego.
Yeah, if I had more stalkers like you, it would all be cool. Yeah.
Anyway.
Not just one time, not just 2 times. I can name about 4 or 5 male YouTubers in the feminist community that have sent me unwarranted sexual messages. Guys that I thought
4 to 5. Right. So who are the 5? We've got
Exactly.
5 again. That's yeah.
In her, this isn't like in general. This is in her. This is like in her little, like we were talking before. How which one do you think is a perv? Apparently, 5 of them
Actually
are
has
secret
2
pervs.
Tumblr accounts.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Like 5 people within her community are doing this. Like it's not just like, it's not like, 5 people. It's not like
Yeah.
it's Ian and like another guy and
So
John.
all
It's
yeah. What we need to do is like find out who this community is, work out which of them have made silly little videos and which ones haven't, and the ones that haven't will be the guilty ones.
That is probably
We'll
true.
know. We'll know, and we'll be able to say,
Oh,
you're
there's
a
a part 2.
We need
Well,
more clues.
let's get through this first.
Yeah.
But yeah, end of the day. But how about this first, Ian? End of the day, would you fist her?
At the end of the day, what?
At the end of the day, would you fist her?
Would I? Would I? Possibly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Quite probably. Okay, I'll admit I'm having to fight the urge to send her sexual messages on YouTube. While I watch your video, I am masturbating. Is your hair naturally blue? Do the collars and cuffs match?
Well,
Oh God, he's
we've
gone.
lost Callum. We've lost
Oh
him.
no. We oh. Oh dear. I wonder what happened. No, we better not get into that. Let me see if I can get the video back up on mine, because I'm sure it'll be back in a minute. So I just need to show screen share. Oh, that. So let's take her up to here. Can you hear that?
No, I can't hear it.
No. Oh well, she finished up anyway. She just said thank you, basically. I didn't press present to everyone. Right. We can try that again. Or we can go to one of the other videos, actually.
Yeah, we should probably go to one of the other videos. Hey, look who's back.
Oh, excellent.
So, end of the day, Callum. End of the day, Callum. Would you fist?
Not with a face like that.
No.
Really? Really? Okay. I think we have different standards then.
No, but just look at that face.
It's a good face. Not that face. In general, it's a good face. Look at those eyes.
Yeah. There's no makeup on it. On her. Why am I saying it? Yeah. Because we were saying her face. Yeah, sorry.
I'm a gender fluid boy,
On the gender fluid boy, sorry, yeah. But, oh. Oh dear. It's probably his connection, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh,
They're still using steam power to power their internet over in Ireland, so it's
yeah. It's not even steam, they burn peat. Yeah. Oops. Yeah, let me get this back up. She makes a point in her video actually about men intentionally getting into the feminist community to get close to the chicks. and I'm prepared to believe that a lot of that is happening. I think we do see a lot of that.
We've been talking about this for months. I mean, years. If you want to go back to like the origins of the community, we've been talking about this for. I mean, some of the original discussions on a lot of the guys who were joining in when it was still about atheism were like, yeah, they're just doing it for the chicks. Like it's a story as old as time, and it will be the story going forward, I think.
Yeah, yeah, and worse than it's not only that some of them are doing it just for the chicks. When you see people like Jonathan McIntosh, he's almost manipulating Sarkeesian. I get the feeling. So he writes so much of his stuff. Yeah, sure, it could be a partnership, but he's so shadowy in this partnership, and that's what I find makes it a little suspicious. But of course, it could be nothing, and they may just be very wary and careful of their privacy. I'm sure they are.
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
Of course, that's quite an appealing face.
See, I don't know what Callum's on about. I mean, that's a really nice face.
Yeah, I would. You know, I'm just worried about those speakers in the background. Or is that a big light? I don't know what that is.
But if it is a light, then it's facing the outside.
Yeah, which is odd. Perhaps she doesn't want you to see it's a big light. But then somebody doing podcasts would have a big light or reflector, or maybe it's a telly of some description.
Could
No,
be.
it can't look like a speaker to me. So anyways, let's find Steve. There he is, laughing away. What a happy chappy. Let's find his video on this.
See, that's the
Sexual harassment. Yeah, this is it. Here's the one.
So he's like, I know some of you have heard recently that I've been harassing gender fluid boys, and I just want to clear the air a bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
But also, yeah, no, I can't hear anything yet, and I doubt anyone else can either.
Oh right. Bollocks. Hang on. He's gonna wait and drink his tea eternally. So nothing comes over that.
No, I don't hear. I don't hear a thing.
I don't understand why that's happening. It works for Callan and it won't work for me. Because it comes through on my speakers, alright. I presume it's because, I don't know, because of my microphone. I could put up the, no. If you put up the auto caption, it just speaks gibberish at you. That won't work. It would be amusing, but
It would be amusing.
Let's do that while we wait.
We could just read the auto caption.
Yeah. Like, yeah. Okay, we'll do that. When you're done, wait.
When you're done to wait. When you're done to wait.
You're done to wait.
So now that you've watched JJ's video, you may have had one eye of several possible reactions if you were a woman.
Yeah.
And you watched JJ's video, you may have thought, oh, that's terrible. We need to do something about this, or it's very likely sadly likely that.
Yes.
You said the same thing has happened to me. I know exactly what she's talking about. She speaks for me.
Yeah.
And she talks about experiencing sexual harassment. Online, especially in what are supposed to be safe areas. And if your man, you may have also had several different reactions, or maybe multiple reactions. You may have thought, oh my god, that's terrible, we need to do something about this. You may have thought, oh shit. You might have thought, oh shit, I am one of the actual people. Oh, Jacob.
Oh shit!
Oh shit!
Oh,
Like I had, which is to be very jarred by it.
but yeah.
I.e. certain. Can't say that I.A. What's he talking about IA for? I'm surprised by the thing that she talked about in that video. I suppose IA just assume that this sort of things happen. Why is Jim doing these? And they happen to men. Men
Two
are never
men.
sexual. Two men and Jim are harassing this poor gender fluid boy with my Facebook friends. Really good. Circles, but he contacted me private. A time that you was the EU.
PZ Myers.
He was sent just unsolicited, unasked for, unwelcome. Sexually provocative photos in was. Said really sexually explicit messages and put him in a very awkward position. He did not like it all ass. But it does a man, and it shouldn't be done by any period. Like it's not something that as a general rule you should not be making. Unwanted, solicited sexual advances to other people.
No.
Period. And it really breaks up my fucking heart that I really say that because you think that would be common sense. But apparently I do have to say that. Apparently there are people that need to hear that never that were absent that day. And fucking school, I guess another friend of mine commented on my share of JJ's video saying, I don't remember my parents ever sitting me down and saying, all right, sign, it's time to teach you an important lesson. Well, that's your problem. I mean, your parents were as a sign throughout your childhood. I mean, this was uncalled for.
Look at his face when he said that.
Parents out there, don't refer to your kids as signs, because then they'll grow up and become shitty YouTubers who feel the need to show you their audio equipment as they vlog to you.
Yeah.
God, how long does this go on for?
Thanks, Steve. Okay.
Right. As a member of other social justice community or feminist community, when you assume or seem to be a safe, trustworthy person, and maybe even have your YouTube channel that has a lot more subscribers than other people in your community. So you don't have to use those things as leverage. What the fuck is going on about? Whereas weapons as tools to manipulate people. In order to get into this kind of over relationship with them, in order to sexually harass, like he's just rambling on and on about things like it's.
This is what it is. When they have a narrative, they have to expand upon it, and they just iterate it a lot. It's almost like it's like when they selling all that stuff on late night television. They've got nothing to fucking say about it, but it doesn't stop them.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and that's the thing. They just have to keep going on because he's filling time. I'm guessing it's like he's just trying to. He's trying to make it a long video, but he doesn't know he doesn't have a lot to say. I mean, it's a 17-minute video. I mean, but you could probably sum up what he said so far in about a minute. So it's like, go to bed for women with reason with the art nearly as many outspoken melee DPS. What the hell?
Yeah.
So, moral of the story, kids: if you're melee DPS, do not get involved in the social justice community. They're only about range DPS and crowd control. If you're melee DPS, you're just completely fucking off. That means rogues. That means certain kinds of rangers. Just stay the fuck away.
Hang on. Oops. Hang on. I'm sorry, I fucked up a bit there. Let me just yeah. I messed that up a bit because I wanted to turn his sound off, but make that go big again now. Yes, I can. Yeah, that should be working better. Now I should be able to hear you and not have him talking at me.
Regarding I've spoken to age video. A lot of the people doing is one of the guys doing this are people who have spoken out against that very sort of behavior in public, who have posted videos posted, Facebook statuses, tweeted shit on Twitter, how sexist and stuff. And it's the same. It's the same points over and over again. Like this, he has nothing to say. He has nothing to say.
No. So let's just find his funny faces. I'll put them on pause, and then we just flick around. Oh, that's quite a good one. Mild incredulous. Where was that one when we was talking about masturbating? Yeah, it's all gone a bit weird. I'm getting rid of that. I lost all. It's just gone mental. Yeah. So yeah, Steve Shives has nothing to say really, does he?
No, but he has to be a reply girl, and you saw this, and then you have JJ talking about how he called her AJ, and then you have other people giving their 2 cents.
See if I can find Jenny McDermott. Bollocks. Maybe she can move the comments. Yeah, replies. He's got 4,000 watches, I think. I suppose they cook it all up so they can just find an anomaly. I expect they've cooked this up for the views.
Honestly.
Yeah, I mean, they just kind of half don't have an issue. You see what I mean? They kind of pretending they have an issue that isn't there, but they're still going to talk about the stuff anyway. They're not even throwing one of them under the bus, or they sort of are, but they're not going to say who, but they're going to talk about sexual harassment anyway and blame everyone. Or everyone's getting the blame in the social justice. Yeah, they're manginaing up the social justice community, aren't they?
Yeah, and they're kind of turning it all into a circle jerk too. It's like this, set talking point. Everyone makes a video on, then everyone makes a video on the talking point and the response to the talking point, and everyone makes it's this really artificial romantic community,
Yeah. It is extremely artificial. I mean, none of them are getting any sort of comeback from it. I don't know, it's odd. Someone actually out. Very bizarre. Perhaps this kid's just been shooting her mouth off in an SJW community. So I suppose we'll need captions up for Jenny as well. Which is good.
Yeah, I guess this is Jenny McDermott's
Mm.
video in response to this. Like it's again, it's this whole like circle jerk thing. You know, you have this community, people just write replies to each other's replies. This is itself a pretty old thing on YouTube.
Yeah. Oh.
And there's this wall of text.
Yeah. Excellent. She's far more unintelligible than Steve Shrives. Perosi looks at the whole record. What? Yabba dabba dabba. Oh, she's reading it all out. Oh, let's flick through that. Yeah. That fucking bird on her shoulder.
It's like she wants to be like JonTron or something. She's like she's like the anti JonTron.
Very much so, yes. Evil JonTron.
The evil alternate universe of JonTron where Hitler won the war.
Yes. Ava Brown of JonTrons. With her white power bird. And she seems to be saying they're forming some sort of alliance against sexual harassment.
This is gonna be like a war on terror sort of thing. Like we're gonna
Yeah.
form a coalition against this abstract concept.
She's done something to her eyes. She's put eye drops or something in to look like she's been crying.
I guess. Are those eyebrows painted on? I think those eyebrows are painted on.
Yeah. They're slightly different, aren't they? One's definitely a bit more meatier than the other. How did that bird do that? That bird teleported. Whoa, it did it again. Christ. She has powers.
And see, that's one thing JonTron doesn't have is teleporting birds.
No, his bird never teleports. Oh, it's coming
It
back.
shoots, it shoots lasers from its eyes, it does drugs, does all sorts of things, but that's one thing JonTron's
Hang on. Wait.
She-male,
Yeah.
too much female, male, LGBT.
She should say it again. Wait. Oh. Come on. Oh no, hang on. We're a little bit further behind.
Yeah, there it goes.
No. Come on. Oh, gee. Tell us about the mayo. Because we speak out against ridiculous videos and harassment, home being peril force to be reckoned with.
You have to reckon with the peril first.
Yes. Drink
To
no
drink
placenta. We did check their petitions in order to gain some sexual satisfaction.
Go back a bit. Go back. I got a screen cap.
No, hang on. Here we go. Oh
There.
no, I nearly had it. I need it on pause.
There, that's good. That's
What
good.
did the face? Yes.
There we go. All right, that's
Excellent. And I can tell you it is only a few. Off she goes again. SJW community downs its male members in coming from some.
that's just brilliant.
There we go. Hang on. We could probably find a better one of that.
She now mayo. LGBTQ.
Hang on. Go back one. Yeah, that's it. Maybe I'll get a little bit more hand in. Oh, I fucked it. Yeah, that's it. Female male LGBTQ. What the fuck? Oh, no, that doesn't do that. Right, off you go, love. No, no. So I don't know why these bastards are fighting. Well, I do, but it's kind of aimed at them, but not aimed at them. It's aimed at all men, but mainly aimed at SJW men to get them. I don't know. It's supposed to demonize them.
Well, I think it's trying to shame them and then force them to internalize it and then kind of like project it out like some sort of like canon towards non-SJW.
Yeah.
It's like you like all men should for this, therefore we're gonna kick you and we're gonna kick you.
They found they can't kick the gamers around, so they're going to train up their own men so they can boot them around instead. Sad, isn't it? It's the grave they chose, isn't it?
Yeah. Don't call it a grave, SJWs. It's the future you chose.
Yeah. Yeah. You didn't think they were going to sleep with you, did they? Did you?
All right, so this guy named Howie Hughes from California writes in and says, you guys should talk about Bruce Jenner. He was on the cover of Vanity Fair as a chick today. And then he blames you for not having FB on, which I assume is some sort of porn site that he subscribed to.
Right.
Right, so what do you think of
Yeah, we
Bruce
we
Jenner?
can go and watch some porn. Oh, right. No, Bruce Jenner, yes. Let's see if we can find something about Bruce Jenner. Bruce Jenner. Bruce Jenner. Interview. Let's have a look at the interview with Diane Sawyer. Bruce Jenner in his own words. Except we won't be able to hear his words. And there's no cat. Still, I'll make it a little bit bigger. Yeah, there's no point to this, I say, because we won't hear Bruce Jenner in his own words.
No.
But you can watch me pick this Chinese lady's nose with the end of my mouse.
There, I hope you're satisfied, because that's what we think about it. That's what we think about all this. And, isn't it heartbreaking? Just watching him.
Yeah.
Watching him do that. But yeah, no. Apparently he was on the cover of. Vanity Fair today as a woman, and the whole list. At this point, honestly, it's like it's I think.
He's more. He looks like an old lesbian here. It looks like Jane Fonda.
Yeah, it was kind of like that too in the Vanity Fair cover. It was very like, oh, he just looks like an aging lesbian. Oh, okay, that's cool, I guess. Like, there's just so much more. There's just so much more, in my opinion, going on that such minor celebrity gossip is just everyone's time.
Yeah.
So
I mean, look, that's just so obvious. I mean, it's just so obviously a man, isn't it? I mean, nobody's going to be fooled by that.
Especially after all the publicity, no one's being fooled by that.
Yeah. So who did this? I'll carry on. I don't know what they're saying to each other. Looks. Diane Sawyer here is asking an ever interesting question. Lovely blue shirt Diane's got there.
And here's Bruce scolding Diane for asking a question and reflecting about the Vietnam War, and then thinking about all the people who died in the war, and then
Yeah.
people protesting the war,
Yeah.
and then that guy, and that guy, and that guy, that guy. All these people protesting the Vietnam War. Yeah, I didn't think you need flashbacks on video. But I think that's actually pretty cool.
So I don't know what happened there. I mean, it's all gone. There's just pictures of Bruce Jenner wandering around like a tramp. Now he's back. He's moaning again.
He came off of his war flashback.
Yeah.
Like really, like Diane Sawyer sat there for, they had to cut it down for time, but she actually had to sit there for half an hour while Bruce Jenner had this Vietnam War flashback.
Yeah, here he is having a flashback from the war. You can tell because of the way his head's moving, yet his eyes are transfixed, which indicates flashbacks in all sorts of visual media. Look, closing in on his face.
They're having flashbacks.
He's transfixed in terror.
See, this whole transgender thing is actually just to cover up for Bruce Jenner's long history of Vietnam War flashbacks.
Vietnam War flashbacks, yeah. He's not trying to be a woman, he's trying to look more like a gook. Because if he look VC, they won't come for him. They won't throw him in the rat pit. They won't put him in the cage again. Right, well. So do we have any more requests for things to... we don't know much about Bruce Jenner, so it's hard for us to talk about him. Let me just have a quick look at my script. Oh no, look, the Badger Pod is live now. Damn it. No wonder we haven't got any viewers. They're all over there. Terrible. Shocking.
We got 4, which is better than I've ever done, so.
Oh, well, that's good. Oh, yeah, that's better than I've ever done. Oh, I'm happy that. Oh, look, hang on, look. The Laughing Witch, she was commenting about all that SJW shit.
I don't know who the Laughing Witch is.
Yeah, I didn't until the other day. She's just one of these SJW podcasters, but she's got a video here from 24 minutes ago called False Rape Claims 2. Let's see if she has captions on it. She's captions. Lazy Witch, never mind a Laughing Witch. Do you want me to... I won't be able to read out what she says. I won't be able to parrot what she says. Presumably she's... Oh, she's written a blog post. Oh, well, that's even better then. I read the blog post on Vox. Right. So, yeah, this article is just about false rape claims. So she's just decrying that. Presumably, she'll be saying how, oh no, it doesn't even matter. Who decides whether a rape allegation is false? Well, the police do that. Yeah, basically that's just going to be a load of fluff bullshit about how every rape should be treated as if it's really, really happened. And you shouldn't bother to interview anyone, just throw someone in jail.
Well, that's not going to end up badly for anyone. That's going to work well, and no one will have to worry anymore because
yeah, they'll be in jail, and you'll never hear from them again. There won't be any complaints. Quite literally.
I find that fascinating how quick people are to forget about history, and the fact that we've had several inquisitions throughout history, and this is just but the most. This is just the latest one, and people are just so willing to go into another inquisition as long as it's about something different. And that every time after the inquisitions happens, everyone decries it. It's like it was like the McCarthy trials. Everyone decries the McCarthy trials. Everyone decries the Salem witch hunt. Everyone decries the Spanish Inquisition. Time and time again, we fall into these things. We fall into these inquisitions, and everyone gets so surprised that it happened again. It's like it's just really like tunnel vision of stupidity. It's like, yeah, we just keep going into inquisitions. I wonder fucking why.
She is very that J. The people involved in the JJ thing are very little different to the people in Salem. I bet you. I bet you could find ones that look like them. If you could go back in history to the actual village, I bet you would find people that actually look like Jenny McDermott and that little blue-haired girl. Well, not with blue hair, obviously, but I bet you'd see old Steve Shives in a Puritan hat and that kind of thing with a big collar and all this black pantaloons and shit. Yeah, I can see all that. We should, yeah, no, that's a perfect idea for a cartoon. Find some picture of a Puritan feast, or the Salem witch trials would be even better, and then just stick in all the faces of Steve Shives and JJ and Jenny and all that kind of shit. Yeah, fucking A, I'm doing that. Nobody's allowed to nick my idea if you're listening, unless you're much better at Photoshop than me, in which case go ahead and give it a go, and we'll put that live on air later, if we're still here. Oh, I should get more animated as we go on, because I got 3/4 of a bottle of wine here that I haven't touched, which should mean I can get halfway pissed, but be unable to get fully pissed like I usually do, where I end up shouting at people, which is regrettable. So I'm sort of paced for a long podcast if I want to, if I can get more idiots involved, which might be possible as people kind of get back from work and shit.
You should just hop on and on Facebook and just call a bunch of people in who were interested in going to the stream.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I should do that. Oh, fuck yeah. Indians. That hit the spot. Yeah, I'll go back to the groups, which have been deeply. Ooh, shit, I better not screen share while I'm doing that. Watch on my phone. This is what Big Snav's news feed looks like. Testosterone injury lawsuits. Okay. Oh, Howie's written in. Do you want to see if Howie wants to join? In fact, if anyone listening would like to join in, just send me a mail on Facebook, or yeah, best on Facebook because I haven't got Twitter up at the moment. And I will give you the link to the room, and you can jump on in and tell us all about Caitlyn Jenner if you want, the transgender. I'm not reading that, but you can come and tell us about it if you want. Look, Japanese people fighting in the background. Oh, pop over to Boogaloo. Maybe, not really today. I guess that's a no. Dear. Maybe I should just dump the link in the room. I'm not bothered.
Might as well.
You held my whole
There, Howie says he'll join us.
He
He did to me. He did to me. Let's see.
Yeah.
Try using different. Oh yeah, I forgot about his bee mic. It's fucking 3D printing bees.
That was it. Yeah, the bees. I remember the bees. Yes. I'd love to be able to get everyone a mic. That should have been a Gamergate project. Get some big mic manufacturer to sponsor Gamergate and give loads of prospective podcasters microphones. They didn't sound so sort of time, which is undeserved. I know. When there's nothing else to talk about, have a look at Twitter. Twitter. Oh, there it is. Come to me, Twitter. Right. Shoe on Head remarks that yesterday she managed to fill up a whole sort of SJW bingo card on someone, and the whole of their rebuttal was to call her a Romney supporter. She is still confused.
Oof.
Oh, yeah.
Those are some harsh words.
Oh,
Again,
yeah.
That was from May 13th, though. That was 10,000 years ago.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal, isn't it? It's a retweet. Oh, well, I hope she's recovered by now. Monday Matt, he's always up to date. He says, I love The Rock, but man, I don't know, that movie is perfect. Does it need to be remade? What? He's talking about The Rock.
Yeah, they're remaking Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah, okay, so he's stuck in the past as well. Have a quick look at her. Sabrina saying hello. Oh, that's Sith Lord. That's what's her face, isn't it? Oh, yeah. I better not lech on her. Not
Yeah,
after all what we've been talking about. Like, Gamergaters need to stop making filthy comments on their podcast while looking at famous YouTubers. Let's go and have a look at Ginger Liz. Yeah. Would
end
you,
of the day,
Ginger Liz?
end of the day, Ian, would you fist her?
Oh yeah, Ginger Liz definitely. Didn't King of Pole get in trouble for like sort of coming on to her a bit? It all going a bit, go away, and then he went away again. Oh, she's got a beard. Would you still? Ginger
No
beard?
way.
No way. Look, she's into wrestling as well. Oh well, never mind. Go back to just general stuff. So let's see who else we got. So yeah, you've got old Sith Lord Sabrina strutting her stuff. Look, there's a tush. Very nice. I don't know what that suit is. I presume it's something. It looks a bit what's that game? Mass Effect 3.
No,
Yeah.
could be. I don't know.
That's Sargon of Akkad. Let's have a look at his naughty pictures.
Because you need to see him in a swimsuit, I think.
Yeah, like, ooh. You're spending too much time in front of the computer, man. No, but we will have a look at his new logo. This is pretty swish, isn't it?
It's pretty cool, yeah.
Yeah, I think we should like hit up a 3D printer, or in fact, I know companies that make coins and that kind of thing. Get a few of these made. Yeah, I don't know why.
I like his new. I like his little background that he uses now. The little animated
Yeah,
one.
yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah. And you often, if you look closely, there's often like little bits of snow or rain or a heat haze going in the background. Kind of weird.
It's kind of like this, like trickling dust and light or something.
Oh dear, hang on, I think Sargon might be losing it a little bit. Let's have a look at this tweet. If a man put out the eye of another man, his eye shall be put out. The Code of Hammurabi. See, that's no good. I mean, it's bad enough that you have KIA and GGHQ making all these new rules about censorship and that. You've got Sargon wanting to pull people's eyes out.
Well, it's like in Kill Bill, right? Like he could be like what's his face?
Yeah.
Jaime or something. And he's like, so he has a monastery, and people, they punk him off. He just kind of like grabs their eye.
Yes, just. Oh.
But how he wants the link into the stream.
Yeah.
So
right, but anyway, That's enough staring at Sargon. He has peace at all. Terrible.
So Ian,
Yeah.
probably should give Howie the link to the stream to get into the stream.
Oh right, I'll go get that. Yeah. Actually, it's still in my coffee buffer. It's still in my coffee buffer. Hang on. Let me just go over and find Howie. There he is. Ian Link. Yes. Oh, it isn't in my coffee buffer. Yes, it is. Ding! I am the magic linking fairy.
Well, that's what you want to call yourself.
No. We can edit that bit out later. No, we can't. I'll tell you that picture though of Jenny McDermott. Look at her face, the big eyes. She has the big eyes. Oh, what did he can check their positions in order to gain some sexual satisfaction? With a strange teleporting bird there in the background. I want that bird. I want a bird like that can teleport around on my shoulders, and I'll sit there saying things like "she-male, male, LGBTQ." I wonder
Yeah.
what
Sure.
Hello.
Hey, is this any better quality than my other mic?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay. Cool.
Because it
You
doesn't
sound
sound like you're in the
fantastic.
world of bees.
And it's like the voice of Zeus suddenly descended upon us. That's what it like.
Doesn't she look very Danny De Niro on this one? Like she's got that very like puckery lip.
Yeah.
De Niro. Sorry, Robert De Niro, not Danny De Niro.
Robert De Niro, Jenny De Niro. I was thinking, Jenny De Niro.
Jenny
Yeah,
De Niro.
probably. Yeah, I thought, yeah, she could be related. He's got a very Nordic face.
You guys mixed Danny DeVito and Robert De Niro.
Yes.
That would be a monstrosity.
It would be a must. Yeah. No, you just get Joe Pesci. It's been done. No, that's what happens if you mix Ronnie DeVito. No, what's his name?
Danny
Robert
DeVito.
De Niro.
Robert
Yeah,
De Niro
you-
and Danny DeVito. I get them mixed up all the time.
Yeah, and you mix them with that Richard Pryor guy, is it? Who's the dancing one, the fitness guy?
Richard Simmons.
Richard Simmons. Yeah, that's how you get Joe Pesci.
Richard Pryor was the black comedian.
Yeah. Oh, you could bung some of that in, and then you get Sammy Davis Jr. Little bit of racism there. Sorry, everyone. Yeah. Wow. I had to go there. I need another coffee. Is that cool? We've got a new playmate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're
Let me
watching,
just find a
you're
better
just,
image. I will not torture everyone by leaving you on Jenny McDermott. Or perhaps I will.
But yeah, Bruce Jenner is now Caitlyn Jenner.
Wow.
And he actually, for whatever reason, just looks like an actual woman, whereas his ex-wife, or whoever that is, the Kardashian bitch, she looks like more like a dude than he does now.
Yeah, but like here's my point, and I told this to Ian. You're fucking paying attention with her. Like this is all meaningless celebrity gossip. Like it's like who gives a fuck? Like in all honesty, today in all the brass tacks, fuck. Like do you even one remote parsec that this person hasn't been relevant in culture for 30, 40 years. Does it really matter that it's like the media
Exactly, yeah.
and it's like, and it's funny because we're always trying to talk about how we want them to be included into society and we just want to treat them normally, and then you have the media blowing up these stories like it's the next big thing, so it's like it's doing more harm than good, I think.
One journalist, in fact, is it the Koretsky guy from the SJP? He was saying often you get journalists are looking for what they call their beat, which is like a regular story. It's a narrative, as we'd understand it, that they understand and that they know and that they can fit their things around. So the transgenderism thing and Bruce Jenner, they understand the story with Bruce Jenner as in, I'm doing this thing, I need money for it, it's the end of my career type thing, I need money anyway, so I want to come in and do a media thing. My issue is that I'm becoming transgender now, and that fits with your modern issues, and they'll go, yeah, that's a story we can work on. And you know, once one person does that beat, other people copy that beat. Diane Sawyer sees that and thinks, here's something I can talk about. That will give me a sensible interview that will be slightly controversial, but I'm on the right side of it. Nice and safe for me, but still appears controversial and brave. And so that's what they've done. And it's actually not brave at all, really, is it? It's just a bit of e-begging.
Exactly. I mean, you really see some people with the, you know, that a majority of people say is just no. You can't say that's brave anymore. Like, am I brave for crossing the street? You know, anyone, you know, he's probably braver for crossing the street because he can still get hit by a car than he is. So you can't go and say something. You can't say, "Oh, I wish this was normal." He's so brave for doing this normal thing. Like, it's this complete, you know, bass backwards way of looking at it.
Yeah.
I don't know. B-Man, what the fuck do you think?
Yeah, there's always a narrative going on with mainstream media and non-mainstream media. But mainstream media, I think, pushes narratives a little farther than some more underground.
Possibly.
But that's just what I think. Is because I mean, you can find underground media sources that aren't mainstream and they don't have like any bias whatsoever. But you can't find a mainstream media source that has no bias.
A little bias.
Or has.
Well, I would challenge that too. I would say that every media outlet has some sort of bias, and if you don't see the bias, then it's just because it's the bias you agree with. I mean, every human being has a bias towards something. Like, I could say that, you know, I can honestly say that I find libertarianism being the most correct. I wouldn't say it's like the truth. So it's like I don't think there is a way of saying that one point of news, like one source of news, is objectively without bias, is objectively correct, because that's just impossible. In the very way of reporting news, it's impossible.
But we can minimize the bias. I mean, like just saying, just stating the facts. Like an educational source would just state the facts, and that would be it.
But
and
even in reporting, the facts, bias. Reporting the facts that you know, the facts you choose to report and the facts you don't choose to report are the bias. Like, there's always a bias. You know, bias does not necessarily mean opinion. It's in how the message is conveyed. So I could tell you 6 facts, but I'm not telling you every fact. Like, let's say there's 10 facts to beat, right? I could tell you 6 of those facts because it's a news story, but I'm leaving the other 4 facts. You know, so those 4 facts are the bias I'm choosing to sort of leave out. So you can objectively state the facts, but you have, you know, the facts you're stating, what you're not stating, are the bias.
Yeah, that is true. I don't know. I think it is a good idea to get multiple sources, just for that very reason.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that? I couldn't hear you.
I think it is a good idea to get multiple sources just for that very reason.
Absolutely, and you know, it's good to take multiple sources from different political views. It's like, take a left wing and take a right wing and take something that purports itself to be centrist. Take radical, take moderate, and then sources. You can kind of jig a puzzle to the truth. Well, I mean, quote unquote truth. So like you get actually by where the bias overlap, and it's in the overlap of bias that you can find the truth behind a story. I think.
Yeah, that's a little complex, but yeah, a lot of people just don't feel like putting in the effort for that, unfortunately, and they
No, absolutely, and you're absolutely right, and
so
that's
they'll
why
just
we have.
so they'll
That's
just click on the link that they agree with, or open up the newspaper that they agree with, or
absolutely,
or
and they'll
turn it.
purport it as the actual as the the objective truth, and that's the problem is that you have to take everything with critical thinking, even what your best friend says, even what close to you say. And I know it's harder the closer they are to you, but you just have to put that critical thinking on it. I mean, even right now, take that with critical thinking. Take what I'm saying with critical thinking. So I mean, just don't take anything as face value. Don't take anything as objective fact because I mean, one can argue there's no such thing as objective fact.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if if people who disagree on multiple points, but they do agree on one point, like let's say like in the U.S. Democrat and Republican, let's say that they're about as far apart as they can be, but they
No, not
completely
really.
disagree on something,
Not
then
because even
would that
like
not be objective fact?
no, because I mean that again, like what in Canadian standards, both the Democrats and the Republicans would be conservative parties. I mean, our conservative party actually leans a little bit left Democrats. So I mean, like you could say that in the American in an American yes they're diametrically opposed and it's just hard vision, but that's just because you've been socialized into thinking that way. The fact of the matter is that what the United States has is two conservative parties that has so it's like um, I would still argue. I mean, and it's like Canada, our political parties are more left-leaning. So to again, like I said, all of even our most conservative party leans left of your quote-unquote liberal party or your Democrat party. So you know, you can't really argue that there is an objective fact in all that.
I suppose so.
Oh, this
Yeah.
is interesting. I've just seen this story from Milo. You might be able to see it on your screen, but you've still got the screen share thing up. Former Big Brother star Rebecca Shelton, aka Rodrigo Lopez, sparks concern with suicide attempt following sex change. Um, and that's female to male, I think, transition, or is it?
Looks like it.
Yeah, claimed on Twitter, so yeah. Oh, she was a guy, then she became a woman. Let's see, got
Hmm.
chucked out. It was very miserable. Well, didn't make a very convincing man. Oh, that's sad.
I saw Caitlyn Jenner on the sidebar thing.
Caitlyn Jenner. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Bruce Jenner's new name.
Oh yes, of course. Yeah. Sorry, I don't care. Bruce Jenner is still always going to be the Hulk for me.
Yeah.
Sorry.
This is kind of weird though because Bruce Jenner's now, he's
Mm.
been the most masculine man possible,
In what
and
way?
now he's actually being seen as a very feminine woman. So he's been both sides extreme. He's been on the extreme of both sides.
Yeah.
What in the hell is that?
But it's hard for me to say, really. In the UK, none of us have ever heard of it. That's the problem. I mean, we don't know. To us, like, he just looks like some old lady lesbian to me. It looks like she reminds me of Virginia Wade, the tennis player.
What's this video I'm seeing here?
I don't know. It's just going in the background on my newsfeed.
Huh.
If I turn the sound up, it won't travel over to your thing. So I don't know. It's just some weird guy. Matt Dean shared it. Absolutely don't know what it is. It looks like somebody doing human beatboxing. Either that, or they're having a fit, or they're coming up on a really good E. I don't know.
Yeah, that's just kind of weird.
Let me change it so it doesn't distract you. Oh, I can't.
Well, I have other distractions too. I have Dead Space.
Do you? Are you playing Dead Space? Excellent.
Yeah.
What's that like?
It's pretty fun. I've beaten it hundreds of times, so I. Oh my god. Nope. Oh my god, no. Yeah, I've beaten it a lot, and I just got mobbed by like a ton of mini thingies that are just sucking away my health. I shot a fat guy and he exploded with weird face hugger things.
Did he? I've just been looking at this giant lump of marijuana.
Yeah.
I can't believe it is actually that colour. It's possible, I suppose. Oh no, I hate it.
Yeah. It has to do with like nutrients and stuff.
Yeah. And filters. I bet some of that's Photoshop. If you give a hippie Photoshop and say, right, well look, I just want you to tidy this photograph up a bit, they're always going to do something like that. You know, they won't be able to go, well, I'll just get rid of some of the noise and I'll just, you know, stamp in the colour and create a bit more contrast. That'll be fine. Sharpen it up a bit, this and that, maybe crop it. No, a hippie will go in and go, well, I ought to put a psychedelic filter over that weed. No.
Yeah. I know that there is some that does have that kind of color. But I've never seen any.
I suppose anything's possible with flowers. Yes, traffic. Anyway, let's see what else is on YouTube.
I commented on Jenny McDermott's video.
Oh, yes.
She referenced the EEOC, which is like a government resource against discrimination or something.
Yeah.
But you know, the thing about it is, she's denied that the wage gap is a myth.
Right.
And the EEOC also says that the wage gap is a myth.
She said the EEOC is a myth.
No.
She said to the EEOC, what?
No,
She
said
maintains the pay gap in front of the EEOC when she knows it's a myth.
In her video, she referenced the EEOC, but previous times she has mentioned that the pay gap is real, but the EEOC also says that the pay gap is not real. So I gave her a link to the EEOC's
Oh, I see.
where they said
There's no such thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. She'd ignore it, and she'd probably just shout at you, but there you go.
I'll probably try to gaslight.
Possibly.
Here, I'm gonna put that link right here.
Uh-huh. It's the room.
The link's in the private chat here now.
Yeah, I just got a lot. Well, you mean the actual link to the Equality of Pay Act, right?
Yeah. Basically, if someone is being paid less or feels like they're being paid less, they have the right to take it to court under this act. And it's really weird because I've shared this with other feminists, and as soon as I do, they say, oh, well, there's a barrier that keeps women from going to court and filing lawsuits. And I'm like, well, where is this barrier? What is this barrier?
Mm.
And they never really answer.
No. Of course they don't. Well, you know, there are elements of their whole thing. Their point is to be critical, not to ever answer criticism. So they will always just avoid that. Like, don't bother with that, fuck that.
Yeah, and you know, sometimes they'll be like, how dare you ask me that question? Like,
Exactly. Yeah, anything to get away from answering the question. And that's regarded as sound argument technique on their part. Or I won't enact the labour. That's another one.
I won't enact the labor of explaining something to you. You should just believe me.
Exactly. Listen and believe. Hmm.
I have so many electronics in my room right now. It's ridiculous. Like, right next to me. Like, this is my computer. Right here. Right next to it is the Atari. Over here's the N64, the SNES, the PS2, and the PS3. There's two PS1s over here. There's like a camera and a microphone here. And then there's a big stack of games right behind me. And that's all within arm's reach.
Mm. So, if there's any burglars out there...
Well, the thing about that is, let's see if you can hear this.
No, no, no. You're going to set off an alarm or something.
Did you hear that?
No.
Alright, I'm gonna see if I can get it close enough to the mic.
Yeah. Oh. Well, you got a bionic arm?
No, this is
No.
a sword. Also
A sword?
within arm's reach. Yeah. I keep swords in my room.
Ah.
And it is, yeah, it's a cane sword, so I can't keep it very sharp.
No. No.
But
Be
that's
hard to walk on, I suppose.
Yeah, it can be used for defense.
Yeah.
So people try to steal from me, and I have that right there too. That's all within reach, arm's reach.
Mm. Very handy. So, if there's any burglars with guns out there,
Yeah, come on in. Yeah, just enter. Should be
So,
fine.
so Howie, yeah, you're a professional singer, right?
Me?
Yeah, sing us.
I'm not really that good anymore.
Ah, come on.
I used to be.
mm.
I've been out of practice for a while.
Yeah, because of the internet and stuff. Just imagine it doesn't give one many opportunities for singing.
And not only have I been out of practice, but I mean, I don't know how good this mic is. I can't really hear myself on this mic
That's
right
fine. We can hear you. Sing us "Candle in the Wind."
now. I don't know
My
that.
favourite. Candle in the wind. Right.
But it doesn't need to be the Princess Diana one. It can be the Marilyn Monroe one if you want.
I don't know that song really.
The Elton John version. You know, and it
Yeah,
seems to be
I really.
alive like a candle in the wind. Now,
Yeah,
I
see,
don't know the lyrics, you see. If we can get some lyric sheets up, maybe get a few more people in, bit of singing, it's not been done before.
I'm not drunk enough for that.
that was your first mistake.
That was your first mistake here.
Well, I don't have any alcohol either. I mean, damn, I would be. I'd be singing already if I was drunk. Shit.
Well, do you any alcohol in the United States?
Hmm?
You guys have alcohol in the United States yet?
Well, yeah, I just don't have a lot of money and haven't been able to go out and get any.
See, that's the problem. You don't have a social welfare net. That's the problem.
Yeah.
You know what you should do? You should get pregnant, right? So I'm pretty sure in the United States there's subsidies for things. So you should get yourself pregnant, and then you'll get all this money from the government.
Yeah.
Get your welfare money.
I don't know how I'd go about getting pregnant. I mean.
Okay, it's actually really easy, right? So you know how biology works. You know how pregnancy works is like a mechanism, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, so you have this womb, right? Like you have this womb, you have eggs and all that. Just as you get a man to ejaculate inside you, and then a while later you'll get pregnant, right? And then a little while after that, you'll have a baby, and you're set.
Well, yeah, but I don't have a womb or eggs.
Okay, that might be a problem.
Yeah.
Are you sure? Are you absolutely 100%?
I am pretty sure.
Have you gone to a doctor? Yo, you don't have a womb. Stop fucking telling us you do.
I never really went to a doctor to get checked out for that.
Oh shit, that's true. It costs money. Fuck, you don't have an NHS. Yeah. Okay. At least get running water where you are.
Oh yeah.
And how much do you just get charged to shit on that too?
We get charged for everything. So.
Yeah, no, I know that because your fucking country is just a kleptocracy. But I mean, do you get charged outrageously for your water too?
Yeah, especially here because I'm in San Diego. And
that's true. You have a drought. Fuck, I keep forgetting that.
We've had a 3-year drought. And
You know what's fun about Canada? We have the most fresh water in the world. It's almost actually impossible for us to get it.
yeah,
It's not
that's
fucking hilarious.
I actually kind of wanted to move up to Canada.
Oh man, you love it. We got everything up here. We have. Do you like colored money? Like different colors to your money?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool stuff.
Yo, we fucking all our money colors, man. Like you can come up here, blue, purple, like a reddish pink, brown. I think you don't get all colors. Like if you want like a mauve, we can't really help you with that. But I mean, the purple one we do have is like kind of lavender, and there's a picture of a knight on it. Well,
Well, you guys
not
also
knight.
have free healthcare and free
Yes, we do.
legal weed.
Well, it's not free. It's not like fucking God comes down from healthcare heaven and gives us care. It comes out of taxpayer money. So I mean, we still pay. It's just like if it's a leg though, I don't have to pay more for it. Because the thing is that in the United States, your tax and this will actually piss you off. In the States, you're go to healthcare. That you pay for it, so you're actually going to charge twice for healthcare,
Yeah,
which is actually kind of hilarious in the States because we get taxed we get taxed pay once for healthcare, whereas you pay twice. So, I always thought that was kind of hilarious.
yeah.
But
Actually, our system so
but
far.
so Ian, the UK, you guys have socialized healthcare, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean,
And
it's like
everyone pays a national insurance contribution.
yeah,
And this has been going for ages. But the thing is, the NHS, when it started, built a load of hospitals. It built a healthcare system. So it
yeah,
wasn't just an insurance thing. Um, I mean, it's the largest employer in the world, apparently, the
yeah.
British NHS. So there is that to it, which is where it varies a great deal. But I think pretty much everyone's contribution to the actual NHS comes out of the national insurance contribution, which is sort of based on your wage. It does vary. So there's that. That's how it works. So it is. It is partially. It's from those who can afford it to those who need it. That's the way I think we described it.
Yeah. But the funny thing is that in the States they still get taxed for it. Like
Yeah,
even though it's all privatized, it still gets taxed. Like it still gets
yeah,
taxed. Like it's ridiculous. It's like I've heard people
yeah.
say I've heard Americans say it's like, oh, but you guys have to pay the tax. Yeah, that's absolutely true. But we don't also have to pay. I mean, there's still things you have to pay for up here. But it's very minimal. And the thing is, if you have a good job or university or you're on welfare, I think you get these things for free. So it's even then it's a minor inconvenience at most. So I mean it's not a bad system.
I think yeah, I nearly had it there. I had it in my head of what had gone wrong. I think the problem is that if you have just an insurance and then there's a huge vast private medical industry that is servicing the people who get the benefit of that insurance, then you are just literally letting companies tax people.
And that's exactly what happens in the States. Is that companies are now taxing people.
Yeah.
And that's what's so fucked up about their country. It's kind of hilarious actually in a way.
Yeah, and then you got all the
On a
private
global
prisons
scale,
and
I suppose that's pretty funny.
What?
On a global scale, I guess that's kind of funny. When you're not in this shitty country, you can laugh at it.
Oh,
from someone
absolutely.
else's point of view, that must be his thing. Yeah, yeah.
Well, no. And here's the thing: any American who has any sort of thought in their head that should be angry at that fact that their country's doing this to them. Um, and it's here's the thing: if you had a more if you had a more together water system, you wouldn't even have a problem with with your drought right now in California because so if you just turn your microphone down a little bit because I can't hear myself over the buzzer.
Me?
Yeah, just turn your
My,
microphone down because I can't hear myself. Yeah, sorry, no, I just couldn't hear myself over. But you know, so like here's the thing. The drought that you see in California is almost completely artificial. I mean, yes, you know, the is very true. At the same time, you know, desalination plants were proposed to be built up there, but environmental lobby groups petitioned the government, and the government said, no, that's no desalination plants, because it was bad form for whatever fucking reason. And you have companies up there using most of your water, in producing God knows what up in California. So it's like you have this drought, and it's not because you're taking too long showers. I mean that's just the media spin. You know,
Yeah.
you're not actually the fault for the. It's just you're being told by your government you are. So the biggest criticism I've always leveled against the United States is that the government is functionally useless in all terms, all sorts of functionally dysfunctionally useless. Like it's
Yeah.
they just can't do anything, and they still have the gall to act like the most people. And here's the thing: the only reason people put up with the United States is because of their military. You know, the reputation of the United States is sort of lower. Not because of its people necessarily. I mean, most Americans I met are actually really nice people. The way that their government the way that the government presents them is absolutely disgraceful. It's just disgraceful. I mean, it's again, I'm going off on a tangent here, but it's really shameful. How your government just treats you. So yeah, for the rest of us in the rest of the world, we can only kind of laugh, and sort of pity, because I mean, like our governments haven't done these things, in Canada and the United States. It's like, yeah, we have our problems, and we certainly do have our problems, but not to the point where our governments just don't work flat out. Anyway, that's rant on the United States.
Yeah, I think the United States is just so damn big that it kind of can't work, or it wasn't meant to work how they're trying to make it work today. It was meant to work differently. And if you look at all its constitution and how it was set up, it was meant to work differently. It was meant to be far more of a republic of independent states, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
the states were supposed to have the most power, and the federal government was just supposed to be there to say, hey guys, you guys are infringing a little bit too much on your people's rights. You got to stop that. But it did a complete 180, and the federal government has taken all the power and infringes on the rights, while the states are trying to say, hey, leave us alone.
Yeah, and that's the ultimate tragedy of the United States. It's like the Jeffersonian democracy that was built up in the wake of the American Revolutionary War is kind of a perfect republic, but it was meant to be built on a much smaller scale, and as how he was saying, with far less power given to the federal government. So you have this system that from its very foundation works, but then it's built upon and built upon and built upon, and I agree with you. It never was meant to get to the size that it did today. Because the Constitution and all the laws were written out for a few small countries on the eastern seaboard.
There's nothing in the foundational documents that mention becoming the world's policeman and that kind of thing. None of that.
Exactly. And when your Constitution is the United States Constitution was made for a country with a government size of, say, Canada, or say the combination of like a few. It was meant for like a few small-sized European states, again, the European-sized states, to come together, and it was never meant to be this huge behemoth, with the third or the fourth largest population in the world, and a major polar power within the world. It was never meant to get that big. I mean, and that's
the
why
idea was to not do another Europe and have loads of European wars between city-states or whatever. So it was just that they were probably designed to be more like a United Nations initially than to be any sort of government.
Than to be a single nation, exactly. I mean, if you look at how the United States was formed, the nation, the fact that it's one nation today would have completely baffled the founding fathers of the United States. They would have been like, wait, you guys just merged into one super country? That doesn't make a lot of sense. Because in their minds, Pennsylvania was distinct enough from Vermont to be two different countries. And it's like you were saying, they really did mean to be just one, a federation of independent states. And again, it's in the name states. I mean, the states they're referring to, states today, is synonymous with province. But back then, state in the context of the United States was individual nation states united together. It was never meant to be, again, a synonym for provinces.
And people did view themselves that way. If you look at all the literature and even the kind of cowboy films, people talk about being Texicans and Texans and stuff, and Oklahomans and Michigans and that kind of thing, because they have a national identity. That is no joke to them.
Yeah.
Where are you from and that kind of thing. And like you come in, you see these kind of things these days, later films, nobody really mentions where they come from anymore. And that's probably cultural Marxism done that. Like covering up the fact that you feel you used to have some autonomy. We can't say that. None of that John Wayne shit.
Here's where a little bit of the confusion comes from surrounding the Confederacy. The Confederate States of America were actually, they weren't founded because of racism. They weren't founded because of slavery. Only about 1% of the Confederacy owned slaves.
Racists.
Yeah, well, they were all racist, but so was the North. That was just a thing. But only 1% of the Confederacy owned slaves. But 97% of the Confederacy fought in the Civil War. The real reason why the Confederacy was founded and fought the Civil War was because Lincoln was trying to instate a federal income tax that would supersede state laws, which at the time was so outrageous. And these Confederate states were like, no, we're not doing that. You're not putting this on us. You're not making this into another empire like Britain. Or, we just 80 years ago we just cut our ties with Britain because they were taxing us, and now we don't want to be taxed.
No, not by Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's a bit of a giveaway, isn't it? You're like, Abraham, and he wants to tax you, and he's got a big beard and a nose.
Well, like, would you want to be taxed? Would you want to be taxed by a man in an outrageous hat? Like, you want to get
outrageous hat. Yeah, black suit, big beard, big nose.
Exactly. I mean,
come on, Goyim, catch up.
At least there's dignity in being taxed by a king or a queen, right? There's dignity in being taxed by them because they got a really fancy hat and they got a really fancy suit. It's not just like this weird ensemble. And if they have a beard, like you tell me that Queen Victoria didn't look fetching in a beard. I did tell you that,
And they had divine right as well to have a beard and to tax you.
Exactly. What divine right does Abraham Lincoln have? What right does Abraham Lincoln have to come to your house and say, "Oh, blimey, now what am I going to do about these taxes?" He has no right to say that. I mean,
he
who does he think he is?
Yeah, the chief rabbi of America.
Well, they felt like instilling this federal income tax, which would supersede all state law, was a violation of the Constitution, which, I mean, it kind of was.
It was, yeah. No, I mean,
the states are supposed to decide for themselves what laws are implemented within their areas.
I wonder what was. No one. You probably won't. People won't be able to say off the top of their heads. What was the reason given for needing these new taxation powers? Was it to fight a war or to do something? Or
I honestly don't know, because at the time, we had everything we needed. The federal government had everything it needed. The states had everything they needed. The
So it was
tax,
literally a big grab for money and power.
the tax just had no reason.
Yeah.
The tax, I mean, see, the thing is, after the Civil War, a federal income tax was not actually instilled until 1914. So that's
Yeah,
another
well, I
almost
fucking
80.
learned what happened last time they tried that.
That's another almost 80 years, or maybe 60 or 70 years.
Do you want what's really funny too, Ian? The reforms of Alexander Hamilton after the Revolutionary War actually set the United States' taxes higher than it was before the Revolutionary War. So like they would have actually been taxed less if they had stayed with the monarchy than since they revolted.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I can see that. And I bet the answer would have been given, well, we understand, but our freedom was expensive and hard won, so, we have to tax people, we have to rebuild the country. I can see them just saying that. And not needing any money, really, to rebuild the country, because their problem was all the people were dead, not the... In fact,
Well,
not even a lot of people were dead, were there? There wasn't a lot of
no,
damage done in the Revolutionary War.
not really. I mean, other than loss of life wasn't all that extreme. I mean, it's like. And the funny thing is like a lot more damage could have been done. It just wasn't. So it's like, and you're absolutely right, Ian. That was actually the argument used. It's like, oh, freedom was so expensive. Freedom was this hard won thing. So
Yeah.
at the end of the day, though, it's hilarious. As soon as the Revolutionary War ends, it's like the whole lie emerged. And it became much more of a dictatorship. Britain never was, and the funny thing is, Canada knew this. I mean, that's why we stayed with the bloody monarchy, for Christ's sake. It's like we knew all this was just bullshit.
Yeah. This
And
is just
I mean,
blow over.
yeah, and it did, and look how different our two countries are today. So
Yeah, well,
that's
I would have said the same thing. I would have just looked at the facts. I would have gone, how old is America? How old has Britain had kings and queens? Let's stick with them. They seem to know what they're doing. And these guys are frankly new. Yeah, I would say exactly the same thing.
well, yeah, and at the same time, it's like these people had this like radical view of government, and it's like these untested, people to the south are just saying, oh, and they tried. They tried to get the province of Quebec and Upper Canada involved in the revolution. We just said no, and I mean, and this is again, I'm just showing a lot of my people here, but it's like I think looking back, I think we made the right choice.
Yes. You hear that, America? It's not too late to come back.
We love you, America. Please just come home, okay? Like
Come
we
on
love you
home.
guys.
Yeah.
Just come home.
I think too
It's
many
not gone
people
well,
here
has
love
it?
King Obama.
We've still got your old room.
we haven't touched it. We promise. We haven't touched it.
I think too many people love King Obama to go to, any other monarch.
When you say King Obama, are you being polite? Is that short for fucking Obama?
Yeah.
Or do you just think he's a bit arrogant?
Well, he's the devil, so yeah.
He's the devil. Oh, yeah. That would be a good conversation. Is Obama the Antichrist? I think that's legal, isn't it, to discuss that kind of thing?
Oh, not for long. Not for long.
Not for long.
So
Yeah.
we better do it while we can.
Do it while we can. Yeah, so could he actually...
Well, Howie might not be able to for long, but I think it's funny because it's like Americans always like to pretend that their laws, this is again mostly the government. The American government likes to pretend its laws apply to other countries, and they don't. So I mean, Obama can ban all the discussion he wants, or Clinton, Hillary Clinton can do that when she gets into power, but doesn't affect us. We can criticize the Americans as much as we want.
Yeah,
and if they don't like it,
we don't start. Yeah, as long as we don't start talking about coming at him with the knives of Megiddo or crazy shit. If he is the Antichrist, we'll just let him get on with it. I mean, what can we do?
Let's hope that Hillary doesn't get into power. I mean,
What evil god would she be if she were also an Antichrist type figure? Would she be Isis?
Tiamat. Tiamat. I would
Tiamat?
say Tiamat. Yeah.
Tiamat. Yeah, I
yeah.
see. I can see that. Or so is it Slanesh in Warhammer? Is she the female one?
I don't know. That's a
Not.
good question.
Yeah, it is Slanesh.
It's
Yeah,
Slanesh. Yeah, it is.
it's not Sinch or Nurgle. No. Yeah, she's a Slanesh. She's a Jezebel-like figure. Um, and she will bring down a big feminist apocalypse upon America during her reign, as well as probably a normal apocalypse as well, because they're going to bring back all those people from the Syrian conflict, and a lot of them will be nightmare jihadis, and they're just going to set them up all around the world, probably in cities where they can disappear and blend in and go and make plans and have nice access to hardware shops, and that will all go wrong. You watch, and then of course you're going to get more Ferguson shit next year, and more racial bipolarization, and more sexual bipolarization. So there'll be like armies of angry feminists and transgender people wandering the streets, whilst a similar large army of jihadis and angry Michael Wilsons are patrolling the streets looking for people to blame, and they'll bump into each other, and it'll be terrible. And we'll be sitting, probably watching an internet aristocrat stream and watching Sky News live stream of all this shit happening, and like, yeah, we'll be laughing our heads off and going, see, told you, you knew this was happening. Oh, I've been waiting a long time for this shit, and it would be great. We'll have beers and cigars and shit.
Yeah, you guys have it good. You guys are just gonna look at us while we're, killing ourselves off.
Mm. Why are you going to be there? You're not a jihadi, are you? You're not an SJW.
Well, we don't know that. We don't know
We
that.
don't know that.
I'm a white man, so
Yeah.
Ah, you're an SJW.
I'm not.
Yeah, I get it.
So I'll probably be like one of the first to die.
Well, just stay indoors. That's the trick.
Well,
Don't even stay indoors, yeah? You turn the lights out in your house, yeah? You go in the back garden and have a cake party. Fuck it.
Maybe make yourself a cup of tea, have a blonde, that sort of thing.
Yeah, have the hose pipe out in case they do torch your house or something. But otherwise you should be fine. Yeah. Scream occasionally and they'll think, oh, there's already something nasty happening in there and we better not fucking leave it. The cops will be here. That's how you get through a riot. Well, I've been to all these, like, what do they call it? These sites where preppers sites, yeah, where they're all preparing for when the SHTF, and so when the SHTF Fs, then they're all going to do that. They're going to go into these compounds, which I presume are like that there, and they're going to live there. It's called compound living, which I think means you've got a really small flat or something, and everything folds away. And yeah, your bed folds down and there's a telly on the back of it.
yeah, it's just
That's what I
bunkers.
understand. Yeah, and apparently you can fold these flats small enough to go into a backpack or bug out pack, as they call them. And then you go out and you become like a bug living in a really tiny space. I don't fully understand how it works. I'm quite new to it. But that's how you survive a riot.
I'm not new at all to it.
Mm. I've yet to find out what the SHTF is, but apparently it's very worrying.
Fan.
Yeah.
It's when the shit hits the fan.
Right.
And
So
that just means whenever whatever's gonna happen happens.
So it's not literally when the shit hits a fan, because I was thinking that's why my bug out kit. That's why they recommended that it should have a raincoat and a gas mask. That's brilliant.
Well, you see, underneath the Cheyenne Mountain complex, there's a giant whirling fan, and there's actually a giant sack of manure slowly descending towards this fan, and it's kind of like the countdown clock. Like they talk about like a doomsday clock, like it's to doomsday. It's actually like the clock is the shit descending towards the fan. So when that happens, it's really gonna be when the shit touches the fan.
Yeah, it will wipe out all civilized life on the planet because how can anyone be civilized when oh, go all over the world. There'll be a big brown cloud that will blot out the sun. For months, and then these particles will start to fall, well, a hard rain is going to fall. Let's put it that way. Yeah, very solid indeed. Um, yeah, and of course that's going to destroy all life on the planet because everyone will give up the will to live. Even the little fluffy bunnies and cattle will just think, "Oh, this is unbearable." Disease will be rampant, and of course the rich will be living safe underground in their bunkers. And once they've given it a few months for things to rot down nicely, they'll just come up and it'll just be pleasant green grasses everywhere and the odd skull sticking out of the pile.
Well, yeah, because
Yeah.
of all that manure.
Manure, yeah, they'll come back to a completely revitalized world with no trace of humanity ever having ruined it. It's called the Eden Project, or Poom's Day. I'm gonna have this bong now. I want to know why, what's his name, Alex Jones, why he's never told us about this.
Well,
Well, he's too busy selling all those. Like, he doesn't.
Alex Jones actually works for those people. He works for them, and he's
Did he?
he's a disinfo agent. He's here to tell us that the end will not come from a giant mountain of shit being
Yeah,
flung into the air.
yeah, he says it's chemtrails instead. There's no shit fan. I can categorically say that I've investigated many of these reports. They've all turned out to be false. There's no giant fan hidden underneath a mountain of shit. There are no long angled subterranean cavities that take the shit away from major cities off to God knows where and dump it on this fan. Those storm drains are just storm drains, people, and the FEMA camps do not stand for Feces and Excrement Management Association. That's all untrue. Yeah, that's what it is. You see, they're going to put a few good souls in there. I don't know why. Just for organisation's sake. Whilst the emergency occurs. Yeah.
So we got some comments already. Rage Thegmer says, "Fuck this."
Mm.
Jack Pewitt says, "Nope, only me listening." What are your thoughts on this, Hal?
Uh, excellent. Feedback is always useful.
I find "fuck this" the most productive so far.
Yeah, that's very
Yeah, nope, I'm the only one was actually like the first comment.
yes, good old Jack Hewitt.
I like him because whenever he's in like a stream or something, he has like that karaoke mic. So I'm always tempted to ask him like to sing karaoke for everyone.
Yes, give us a croon. But no. I think he's ended up here by accident.
He's like, oh, this looks important. Wonder what's going on here.
Yeah, I think because I'm just looking at his videos and his subscriptions and these are all Let's Plays and stuff about gaming and that kind of thing. And I should imagine, I don't blame him at all, thinking, right, what the fuck is all this shit about? I'm not interested. You know, we were showing him pictures of plain SJW women. That would put me off. I don't blame him at all. Right, well, I'll make a note of that on my pad. It's about bland
Fuck
SJW.
this.
Fuck this. Yeah. SJW chicks and Steve Shives.
I was reading in one of the groups this guy happened upon a porno with a chick in it that looked just like Lacey Green.
Ooh, really?
Oh, now you got Ian's interest.
Oh yes.
He
Yeah.
was describing it, and people were like, "Yeah, it sounds good. I might want to watch it." And he was like, "No, don't.
No.
It made me sick to my stomach."
Ooh. Oh, I must have this on my desk immediately.
I was like, "Oh, really? Well,
Yeah.
maybe I'll just check it out. Can you give me a link?" And he was like, "No, I
Damn
will
it.
not give you a fucking link."
Well, now we have to go search it up because we have to.
Yeah, it was on like SpankTube or something like that.
Thank you. Right. Go find
But
it.
it was.
This is where you keep getting all your
It's not
malware.
gonna. It's not going to be describe itself as Lacey Green though. There's no way we can find that.
Yeah. Well, I
Let
don't
me
know.
just try Lacey Green porn instead. Yeah, we're all 54. There's bound to be something. Yeah. Yeah. Not very exciting. Oh, that's a website.
You guys, you know about Suicide Girls, right?
Yes.
Like as a concept, yes.
The modeling agency.
Yes.
Okay, there was a Suicide Girl who looked just like Anita Sarkeesian.
Yeah.
Okay.
Had the weird red hair and the hipster glasses and everything, but she got like naked on camera.
Okay.
And don't tell me they passed this around and said, look, Sarkeesian used to do the nudes.
Well, they didn't say that, but right around the time when Gamergate was getting really big, they posted this on their Facebook page.
Excellent. GG, Suicide Girls. GG. Excellent. Oh my. I don't know who this, but this is a picture. Actually, I should better use the. Yeah, look. I've got a screen share here. Can you see that? Yeah.
What exactly am I seeing?
You should any second be seeing an SJW woman. Presumably. That's the look.
Yeah.
That's one of the people I got when I was looking for Lacey Green. So presumably she's trying to do a Lacey Green impression. Anyway.
Oh God. Yeah. Don't. I'm just not gonna click on anything there. I just looked up Lacey Green porn and. Oh, goody. Oh wow.
There's old
I hope
Lacey Green.
this video doesn't get like. Oh my God, that's.
And Lacey Green.
So, in case you haven't realized already, this is the NSFW portion of the stream. This is the part where YouTube takes us down.
Oh, YouTube, yeah. This is where YouTube takes us down for these kind of images. Well, this wouldn't happen if you let me come. Yeah, we should be alright with this. See, I'm being slightly clever. None of this is sort of super lewd. It should slip by the kind of digital sensors, and yeah, I should be able to. I think I'll get away with it.
If the patriarchy is real, this will not get taken down.
Yeah, and I mean, look, all this stuff is already online. It's already up here.
Oh my God.
Everyone
I'm gonna I'm just gonna go look for that image that this chick something or other a while back. Yeah.
This is my favourite. Oh hi, I'm Leslie Green. Oh hi. That's enough. Most of this. Wow, the rebel media are doing a video on the case for revoking terrorist Canadian citizenship. Yes.
Well, I citizenship.
Yeah. I don't know what she's saying. Oh look, they got captions. If Allah wills, we will break their back in their own country. Iba Mohammed Alizadeh. Takes the oath of allegiance, flies to Iran, and takes the Swiss allegiance to Osama bin Laden. Yeah, you kind of really don't need your citizens stomping off and fighting in other wars just willy-nilly because they want to. Because at the end of the day, that is going to bring your country into an awful lot of trouble.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a big deal maybe if it's just the odd 50 or 60 a year, but the day that like 5,000 people decide to go and pitch up in a war, the country is effectively at war.
Yeah, well, what stops your country from just making up mobs? I mean, just look what happened in Russia. That's exactly what they did. You know, they manufactured mobs that went off into another country and essentially took over a part of it. You know, so it's like I'm not saying my own country that, but I mean in general, it's a bad thing to say.
It'd be kind of difficult for America to do it. They could only really do it to Canada or Mexico, but they would. You know, they would.
Oh,
The Mexicans know they would. They'd be in like that. They know you've got gold. They know you've got all that excellent marijuana.
yeah.
Apparently, Game of Thrones is going all zombie-ish.
One really follow Game of Thrones.
I found it.
Yeah. Well, I think the white beasties are coming. Or the walkers, that's what they call them, isn't it?
I found this Anita Sarkeesian chick on Suicide Girls.
Oh, cool. So,
Brilliant.
Oh, but this isn't the exact same before. Let me look a little more.
Okay. I'll have a look at this link anyway. Oh, that's equal opportunity to pay act. Yeah, no, so in Game of Thrones, all the White Walkers are coming. And, you know, in my country, the name Walker is quite a common surname. The Walkers are coming. Oh, how lovely. We'll get some drinks out. Nibble. But especially if they're the White Walkers, the nice ones. Um, no, so anyway, yeah, and they're like zombies, and there's this one wonderful scene where like you see them all like hanging around at the top of this cliff. There's that big wall there or whatever, and they all just fucking throw themselves off and collapse on the ground in big piles, and then they all suddenly get up again and that kind of thing. So you get an idea of what these things are about. And there's another scene where there's this like giant White Walker guy or whatever, and he just stamps someone flat. He's like, you know, literally 5 times the height of a man type giant. You know, your big classical fantasy game type style giant, not just some huge bloke that they cop out with usually in all these films and television shit. So he's obviously a really nice piece of CGI and that kind of thing. So there was that, and I thought, oh, that looks good. There's also this scene with there's a bunch of dead kids or whatever, and that kind of lying around. And then this weird guy does something with his hands or whatever, and they all pull their eyes open and they wake up. So that gives us an idea of what the White Walker attack is going to be like, and it looks pretty epic. And so the legend tells us that these fuckers will try and go anywhere that the winter lasts. So basically, trudge all the way down and that kind of thing. So presumably they're going to be like some massive holocaust. All going to really heat things up. One was common. Ugh. So Sean Bean, he's always good to talk about.
No. Screen sharing now. What the hell's going on?
Hey.
That's not too bad. That was fun. Alright, good work, Howie. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, I just thought you guys might want to see a sexy Anita Sarkeesian on Suicide Girls.
Well, that was the most I've ever had. I'm just real fucking happy.
Oh, that's not the best. I mean, there was one. Apparently, they posted another one recently that had that same girl do nudes, and I wasn't gonna show that one. So
I can't see it at all.
Well, you didn't present so like me.
Well, no one told me he put it in the room because I can't even see it on your profile. All right. Then to everyone. There we are.
yep, there's the Anita
Something like
Sarkeesian.
that. We've got one that looks more like Anita Sarkeesian than her.
Well,
Get what her name is though.
she has other pictures that are probably better, but it's just like the resemblance. When I first saw it, I was so confused because it was like, it's a Suicide Girl, yay! But it looks like Anita Sarkeesian, and I don't know how that.
Suicide Girl, yay! Sorry, that just sounded a bit weird. Yeah, hang on. Here's our sexy Sarkeesian. I'll put this link in the room. I'm gonna check her out.
Very nice. Very,
Yeah.
very
She
nice.
actually looks like Sarkeesian though, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah. She's got the shirt and everything.
Hoop earrings, hair.
It's not.
Tits. Can't go wrong with tits. Everyone loves tits. Even gay guys love tits.
Yeah. That's always surprised me. That. Hang on. Anyway,
I agree.
yeah.
This is a lot of good dead air. I must say. This is
It's
actually
I
probably.
must say, yeah, yeah. We dragged on a bit. Really. Trouble is, we've come at this with very few topics because we exhausted the ones. Yeah, we
I
exhausted
think
the
we've
ones we
covered.
had.
I think we've covered some of the most important topics. I mean, Lacey Green porn, Suicide Girl Sarkeesian.
Yeah,
You
we
know,
did some other stuff earlier. Yeah.
yeah, I was here. But yeah, those are pretty important things. Those are monumental.
They are. I think what went wrong was we lost Callan because he's quite good at doing the old screen share bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sort of works there because he sets up stuff up while I'm keeping conversation going. But when you end up doing both,
It's just a shame you just eat so much bloody ice cream.
yeah. If only you hadn't eaten that damn ice cream.
He'd still be here. I miss him.
Mm,
Rest
I
in
reckon
peace,
that's
Colin.
it. Someone came in and said, right, that's it. We've also noticed that a packet of Kit Kats has gone. You've done a whole packet of Kit Kats, all that ice cream. We're not having it. I'm locking this room.
This room is awful. All right, like
Yeah.
eat your ice cream in a room where we can see you.
Yeah. You want to use a computer, do it at the dining table. Oh, a room full of furries.
I still think we should get that show idea on the go.
Yeah.
How you'd be interested, right? Like if okay, so here's my idea, Ali. We get you on stream, right? And then for like half an hour to an hour, kind of like what Angelo does, but like differently. For half an hour to an hour, just get Irish people to like to berate you, to shout at you, to scream at you, to just say just horrible things to you for like half an hour to an hour. Would
Yeah.
you?
Yeah.
Howie,
It's going to be difficult getting the Irish people.
Howie, can you hear me? Howie.
Yeah, I can hear you. I've been having a trouble getting stuff from your end. A little bit.
All right. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
All right. So hear me out. Okay. So we put you on a stream for half an hour to an hour, right? In that time, we get Irish people, different genders, different ages, different states of drunkenness, and they just berate you, insult you, the whole works for half an hour to an hour. Would you be interested?
Sure. As long as I get a drink too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, everyone will need a drink. The audience will. I'll have to work out how to get a live chat going for that because it will need a chat.
The Irish insult better when they're drunk.
Yes. Yeah. We'll have to time it so it's like a Friday or Saturday night in Ireland. We'll have to find some interesting Irish websites to do this in conjunction with. Really? So we're just going to let Irish people shout at other people from around the world? We'll have a panel that they come on and say rude things to. My God. And then the chat will be roaring as well. Fuck yeah, this is a good idea. Another idea I thought of, for a good format thing, would be like, they have those charity telethon things. Yeah, and they do like the comedy one in Britain. What was it called? Comedy Relief, I think. Was it Comedy Aid? Or live funny shit. But anyway, they get a load of funny people on all night to sort of just tear the shit into the news and stuff and blur and call little skits and do songs and shit like that. And there's enough truly funny people in the podcasting world that would work with. I mean, there's an awful lot of us that couldn't handle that level of humour. But I was listening to Justicar the other day in a live stream with Scrump Monkey, Mikaru, and a couple of other people. And they were devastatingly funny. It was sort of one of those live drunk stream things. And they were just so riotously, excellently off, politically incorrectly funny. There was this black guy in the room, I forget his name, I think it might have been Marvin, I think it was Marvin. There's this guy, a black geek guy there, and he was studying astrophysics. And they were talking about something. They'd already pulled a few little odd black jokes. I mean, they were what was the word? They were experimenting with unsafe spaces, so they were all taking the piss out of each other anyway. But anyway, he was saying, well, you know, I'm studying astrophysics, and like, without missing a beat, Justicar leaps in and says, yo, wait, what? Sorry, stop a minute. You're studying astrophysics? Oh my God, how'd you do that then? What, you hold your telescope to the side type thing? Like, and then Mikro started pitching in, and then they got crushingly funnier and funnier. I'm not going to spoiler all their jokes because I won't remember them. I won't do them right, rather. But it got really quite. Yeah. But this guy was taking it all in pretty good spirits. But sometimes, occasionally, they'd say something, and he'd be just like, "Wow," because it had gone a bit too far. And then they were taking the piss out of Scrump Monkey in his English accent and the way he pronounced beer. We're going to have a beer.
I have a friend who has
me.
an afro.
You have a friend who has an afro?
Yeah, he's white, though.
Really?
He's
So
the only one in his family who has the type of hair that he can have an afro with. It's weird.
Mm. Well,
And,
I mean, some people have that afro gene. I remember when I was a youngster, at one particular school, there was a lad called Grover who was a bit weird anyway. But he had this amazingly tight blonde curly hair, really even thicker and tighter than what was that film? Nathan Thing or whatever, that American geeky guy. The hair like that.
Napoleon
That's the
Dynamite?
one.
Oh, yeah. Dude, I've been called Napoleon Dynamite a lot in life, which is weird.
I suppose you got the height, but you know
I
your
have
hair's
the
all wrong. You could get an afro mask and pull it off. You could make a good few quid. You know, go around. If the film was still popular, you could go around being an impersonator, parties and stuff like that.
If I got a ginger afro, I could probably pull it off.
Yeah. You could, if you got a ginger afro, you could pull off Napoleon Dynamite. Phrasing. Anyway.
You guys know about Bewildered Ape, right?
Vaguely. Well, tell me more about Bewildered Ape.
I commented on Jenny McDermott's video where she talked about JJ Talks.
Yeah.
And I said, well, you know, in JJ Talks' video, she cleared him of any wrongdoing. She cleared the guy of any wrongdoing.
Yeah.
And then Bewildered Ape just came on, literally just now, commenting to me, saying, it doesn't matter. If someone publicly accuses another person of being a sexual harasser in the SJW community, it means that they are guilty.
And he's right. So
well, that's the thinking that goes in there, but it doesn't mean it's true.
Yeah. Well, I know that, you know that, yeah. But it does mean that they're still gonna fuck. The accusation is the evidence, and they literally do this. Weird. Well, and they're not going to go to the police about it, are they? They're just going to handle it in an SJW way, which is making YouTubes about it. They're just going to go around telling everyone. They're just going to brand someone. So who are they? Who has actually even been accused? Just sequester zone.
Hey, I actually
what?
don't. I don't know who's been accused. I don't
Yeah.
know who. I don't know who Sequester Zone is. I think the blue-haired chick that we saw earlier in the stream.
Mm.
That JJ Talks, whatever it is.
Mm.
Whoever was accused of harassing her, that she cleared, she ended up saying, well, it's not true. He never said any of this to me. He never did anything to me.
True. Yeah. So he should be in the clear. However, they're still going to have some odd
Guilty
sort of
by accusation.
campaign. So basically, they've faked all this shit up, created a campaign out of nothing to get rid of sexual harassment. And she's not going to name these other names because they ain't real. This is very odd, isn't it? It's all very iffy. Nothing has actually happened, but they're going to do it anyway. Mm. In this game, yeah, is there a sort of breathing involved, like Darth Vader style breathing?
What?
Oh, I was talking to Howie, but he's actually gone on mute.
What happened?
No, I was just I just noticed this faint Darth Vader style noise in the background. This sort of
Uh,
that sounded like literally like Darth Vader breathing.
well, I did turn off my mic before that. I don't know.
Yeah.
My computer, my equipment is complete shit. You guys already know. Like I had in using this other microphone, just leaving it on for too long, like leaving it on for like 2 minutes, not consecutively, will just it'll start making this really weird staticky sound.
Yay.
And it could be, I mean, one of my friends who I was in a stream with said, sounds like you're playing Modern Warfare right into the mic. And then another person said it sounded like Darth Vader, but I don't know.
Yeah. Fair enough. No, I was
Honestly, I can
asking
hear
out of
both.
interest. It was super faint. Let me get something up in the background.
Yeah, I was expecting, because a while back I got into it with Bewildered Ape and Jenny McDermott. And I was expecting Bewildered Ape to make a response to me.
Yeah.
Like,
Bewildered Ape, yeah.
not wanting him to, but expecting him to, because, I mean, he's apparently one of the biggest trolls from their side.
Yeah.
I mean, and you know what's really funny? Okay, Jenny McDermott ended up having him help her out with what she called a defamation case. But this is the guy who defames Thunderfoot every 5 minutes.
Yeah. Did you
Because,
know he's a member of the Rationalists as well? Because I just accidentally ended up on Bewildered Ape's Facebook page type thing.
wait, Bewildered Ape is on the Rationalists?
Yes.
How the fuck did
What?
that?
How the? Yeah, no, like What?
Well, he's allowed to follow any pages he likes, really.
Oh,
Oh,
I thought
oh,
you
he
meant
just follows.
I thought you meant he was a member of them. Like,
Oh
Yeah,
no, yeah.
that's what you made it sound like.
it's like,
Sorry, yeah.
what?
I phrased that wrongly, didn't I? Yeah, that makes it sound like yeah, he was part of the rationalists. No, he was just a member of the page and looking at it. He must be the one wandering over there going, yeah, what are they saying about me? Right, let me look for him on YouTube. Wilder Dave. La 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 la.
But yeah, he basically every time he talks about Thunderfoot, Thunderfoot is a genocide uh, excuser or whatever, a genocide apologist and a rape apologist. And when has Thunderfoot ever said either of these things? He hasn't. So that's
No.
defamation. But
And when has he
some
apologized
guy,
genocide or rape? Nothing to apologize for.
Well, sometimes he says that in my dreams. You know, sometimes
Yes.
we're riding through the forest and like, you know, Thunderfoot, he's half naked and he's riding on a tiger, and he turns to me and said, you know, I'm a genocide apologist. You know, Hitler did nothing wrong. And then he kind of like flies off into the distance, and um, and then I die, and that's the dream.
but some guy made a video response to Jenny McDermott, and in it, uh, he tried. He was just making like an allegory or something, and just something completely outrageous, like, oh, so because some people say something about Gamergate means that we should automatically believe it? Well, okay, then, Jenny, I believe this about you. I don't have any evidence for that, but I believe it, and so everyone should just believe it now, too. And then she went to Bewildered Ape and made a big fuss about it. And Bewildered Ape wrote him an open letter.
Bewildered Ape comments on everyone. Like, I'm just looking down his videos on his, not even his playlist. He's just banging away at everyone, either side it seems. Likes having a go at Thunderfoot. Hates Paul Elam, hates Jordan Owen, hates Sargon, hates Mundane Matt, hates Arini, hates Justica. Yeah, they're all here. They're all here. Stefan Molyneux. He doesn't even like Watson, Rebecca Watson. He calls her a cunt, and yeah, cunt versus mangina. That's how he builds Thunderfoot and Rebecca Watson. So presumably he is a bit of a rogue, even though SJW's there. Mm, mm. Jenny McDermott's Watson. I'm on Jenny McDermott's thing page. Here's old Richard Cotton. He's had a haircut. Next. Good for him. Yeah, someone called Kevin Logan also been talking about it. So they're getting a big old campaign.
Oh yeah, you know that Bewildered Ape, like he says he's a feminist and all this stuff, and then he went off and threatened Karen Strawn. You know, Karen Strawn didn't have a problem with it because she's a strong, independent woman.
Mm.
But unlike any feminist ever. But then Bewildered Ape, after the other SJWs called him out and said, "Hey, dude, that's not cool," he went off and made a 5-part video about how they're all conspiring against him so they can get more fame.
Yeah. Yeah,
Well, see,
it's still a bit of a crab barrel, isn't it?
yeah, that's a good way to make yourself look insane. All you kids out there, you're asking yourself, how can I look insane to the general public? I tell you, make a 5-part video on how others around you are conspiring against you.
Mm. Mm,
Like go out right now, right? Like if you're listening to this, you're probably associated with GG anyways. But let's say go out there
yeah.
and then make a 5-part series on how me, how Sargon, how Justicar, how Thunderfoot, how Ian, how Callan, how some other guys, how we're all conspiring against you personally, to prevent you from getting Thing.
To prevent
Send
you
us,
from getting thin.
yeah, that too, I guess. You
We're
know,
trying to keep you fat. Yeah. And yeah.
yeah, and post up the videos in these groups or comment or send us through like blood
Yeah.
seed mail or something, and we'll be happy to share them because that'd be fun for all of us, I think.
Screenshots of me trying to force donuts on you. Yeah, that's what we want. And Sargon offering you a bit of flan. Saying, go on, won't touch the sides. Yeah. You can run it off. Yeah. Kevin Wu flicking peanuts when you're half asleep with your mouth open. Your mouth, that kind of thing. Yeah, they're doing this to me.
With the marshmallow launcher.
Yeah. Can anyone do an impression of Randy Harper? We could make this happen.
I actually don't know how to be a fat blue-haired bitch, so yeah, I'm not even gonna try.
Do you know how to be a thin blue-haired bitch?
Not really, no. No.
Hmm.
I don't think I can be a thin blue-haired bitch either. I can be Nazi. That's really easy for me because I'm German or
Yeah.
I'm of German descent, and so that just comes really naturally to me.
It need only be voice acting. You could just find someone who does a bit of voice acting.
Can you do a little German accent for us? Just a little one. Just a little one.
Actually, not really. My German accent is horrible.
Just do your best. Just do your best Arnold Schwarzenegger. I know he's Austrian, but just do your best. Do your best Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Or Hitler.
Get to the chopper.
Oh, that was awful. Try again.
Oh.
Try again.
Austrian is harder than German, but
Well,
then again, you did ask me to do like the weirdest Austrian voice ever.
Wow, we think you can do a little better.
Yeah. Try again.
So you guys want to go to the club, yeah?
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
My German accent is
That's very good.
We could have a lager.
I'll have a go at mine then. It's probably a copy of something else. Ah, they're all telling me that this girl Jennifer is a party pooper. And I'm thinking, oh, that's disgusting. Why does she do this in front of people? Invite you to a party, it's not nice. Scheiße.
Yes, that one's a lot better than mine.
Oh, thank you. I was really getting into it because it was all about scat. Mind you, in England we had Only Fools and Horses. No, not Only Fools and Horses. What was it called? Allo, which was this long-running comedy about Germans and about the Second World War and the French Resistance, really. But there are a lot of comedy Germans in it, and of course you had Dad's Army before that, and of course the
You know why I think I suck at German so much, or at German accents, is because I saw this porno once, right?
Okay.
And
Go on.
it sickened me. It's hard.
I mean, isn't that
hard.
the point of porn? Isn't that the point of porn to thicken you? I mean,
Yeah.
It's hard to make to gross me out, but this grossed me out on like a level I wasn't even ready for.
go on. Okay, go on.
It was the title of the video was German punk girl forced to deep throat and swallow piss until she vomits. That was the gist of the video. I got 2 seconds into the video and I was like, nope.
Mm.
It wasn't false advertising, I'm guessing.
No, no, it wasn't. I was kind of hoping that it was. It wasn't.
Mm.
And hearing the Germans talk, and it was just bleh. No.
Mm.
That
Deep
was the part that
Scottish
grossed,
accent.
that was the part that
Polish.
grossed you out, eh? It wasn't the piss, it wasn't the vomit, it was
Oh
the
no,
German
no,
accent
no,
that grossed you
no.
out.
See,
German
first,
accents.
within the first 2 seconds,
Ooh.
they started pissing into her mouth, and she was
Ich wolle spritzen eine dem Titzen.
and she said something in German with an accent, and I was just like, yeah, I'm done. Nope.
Mm.
Just the whole scenario of it was just so sickening.
Yes.
So if they had said something English in an English accent, it would have been fine. It's just like
No, it would
it's
have probably been just as bad because I could actually
Yeah.
understand. It was
Oh, I'm
really
sorry that you had that experience. Was that Pornhub? No, Extreme Tube, they have a lot of German stuff. Yeah. The Germans are a
I
menace.
think this was on X videos.
Mm. Yeah. Germany. Stop it. Stop, as they say in German. I think they almost do, actually. Do they? Stop.
no, they say halt.
Probably not.
They say halt.
Yes.
Yeah.
Halt. Also. So what kind of German officer would you be if you were a comedy Nazi? Yeah.
If I
Because
were a
all the
comedy
time.
Nazi,
Yeah.
I guess I'd be like Colonel Klink, I suppose.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
give
Yeah. I think I'll be the German officer with all bits missing. Yeah. Limbs and eyes, scars everywhere. Clearly a veteran, but not much left of him. That's the thing. Missing leg, arm, that uniform where they fold the uniform around the front thing, tuck it in the thing. One of those. Just shit tons of medals, shit tons of that. Just hardly any of me left. Plastic ear, missing eyes, glasses. Yeah, I'll be that German officer.
Would you really be a German officer at that point, though? I mean, there'd be just so little left of you.
Well, I don't know. At the end of the war, things got desperate, I suppose. Or they
You
just
could argue,
keep. Yeah.
you could argue at your war crimes tribunal. It's like, well, officer, or well, judge. I went into the war. I committed all these atrocities, mostly human. I'm out of the war now, and I'm mostly just machine. So it's like
Yeah.
all the human parts that committed the atrocity, they're gone.
Yeah.
So really, I didn't commit those acts. I mean, the parts of me that committed those acts were,
Yeah.
are in
Well, it
some
would be funny if
front
I could
field.
turn around and say, "Oh no, I've never been at the front. No, I just ran a small repairs section, and this is just all accidents that happened. And careless around the workshop and shit. I've never seen anyone near the front. Just accidents.
Yeah.
There
Yeah,
was
no,
a
I lost
price.
it.
Yeah, there was a price to pay for that engineering.
I lost this ear trying to repair a carburetor, and I lost this arm, same carburetor.
Later that afternoon.
Yeah, no, after I lost the ear, I kind of lost all my interest in fixing it. So I did was I went off,
Having lunch.
I had lunch, made myself a cup of tea, had a bomb, came back
Yeah.
and lost my arm, trying to replace the same carburetor. So
Yeah.
Have you guys heard the joke about? I had a relative who was in the Holocaust and died. He fell off the guard tower.
Yes. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
that's good stuff. That's good stuff.
I'm gonna have a quick bong another time again. Ooh, my English.
Are you really?
Mm.
What are you, like a cop or something?
Yes, I'm a cop. I've been going undercover in Gamergate for a year just to, catch Ian,
Yeah.
who I didn't know until like 3 months ago.
Yes.
No, I believe that.
No,
Are you,
there's
are you gonna be like Paul Walker in Fast and the Furious though, where it's like you're this like tough guy cop, and then you realize that GG's not so bad, so you join us in our street races, and then you eventually you leave the force to become a full-time street racer.
Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Well, why do you think I started collecting games?
yeah.
To become a street racer.
Yes,
To become a street racer, yeah.
That's
Obviously.
to
I mean
become a
that's
street racer, I started collecting. Well, yeah. Have you seen that video of that guy that said he was street racing with Brianna Wu?
Yeah. See, he also likes games, and Paul Wilson also likes games, so there's a connection. Vin Diesel, he likes a bit of
he
Well,
likes
Vin
Dungeons and
Diesel.
Dragons, yeah.
Farmville. Yeah.
I mean, it's a really roundabout way to become a street racer, but I mean, I applaud you, Matt. Like,
Well,
first
yeah.
video games.
Start out playing video games, learn how to do all that GTA shit, and then go challenge Brianna Wu on the street and be like, "Hey, you want
Yeah,
to
like,
race?"
well, you can race against her new motorcycle, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh God, do you remember that old? You probably won't. It was an old Mega Drive game called Road Rash. And there's Road Rash 2 in that. But basically, it was a motorcycle racing game where you would pick up weapons and stuff as you went along, and you could batter your opponents off their bikes, and that would be perfect. You could just put Brianna Wu in that. Perfect. Because it's so old, the code's probably open source by now. Open source. What games have you guys been playing this week, if at all? God, I've got to turn something on. So I lost it. Oh, there's that film film. That's where they've all gone.
What?
Yeah, I'm just going to put that link in the room there.
Oh
Oh,
yeah. I put that link there. You can watch it if you want. If you wanna,
yeah,
get sick to your stomach.
yeah.
Well, I mean, German accents are kind of nauseating.
Oh, it wants to ask me a
Oh
load
no,
of
no.
questions.
I like German accents, just not in that video. And I didn't even look at the video. That's why it's a Google link. Because
Sure.
I just went to Google, typed it in, looked for the description, and right-click copy link address, and there it is.
Sure.
I've decided I don't want to look at any puking, and it asks me an awful lot of questions to go and look at it. So I can't be asked. Windows 10 is coming.
Yep.
I had a weird little update that said, "Why don't you opt in?" And I thought I'd rather not have it, but I suppose I'm going to have to, aren't I?
Yeah. No, I've already reserved my free upgrades.
Oh, joy.
I'll check it out. I don't give a fuck.
All right, fair enough. I'll hold fire then.
Looks decent, and it's gonna save me. Let's say a year or two from now, I do want to buy it. It's gonna save me the money. So
Yeah. I could read through somebody else's article on the Gamergate News. Right. So what's happened today, June the 1st, Monday? Michael Koretsky has released an AirPlay update and announced that Lynn Walsh, the executive producer of NBC San Diego's investigative journalism team and secretary treasurer of the Society of Professional Journalists, is going to be a panelist on the Gamergate AirPlay thing. So that's interesting, isn't it? That means a really respected journalist is going to be on the panel there now. So will the aggros turn up? Will they still? How can you protect us? It's a nasty Gamergate. It's trigger us or whatever. So there's that. That's happening. Also, Milo Yiannopoulos has written about how the latest ultra-violent video game proves the law of heckle shekels, and presumably heckle shekels means that if people slag off your game, it's going to be popular. People just go, oh yeah, I'll have some of that. So yeah, Paulo Munoz, our local man, he's uploaded a video called "From an Indie Game Dev of Why I'm in Gamergate." To be another one in this series of very well received, excellent, inspirational videos about Gamergate. And finally, an attack on gaming admiral posts. Attack on Gaming's gaming admiral hosts Gamergate, a hate group, I think, at the GG Sydney meetup. So I presume Attack on Gaming is the name of some magazine that he represents or whatever. Let's see what happened yesterday on Sunday. Jim Frank was found to have written an article about Terry Kavanagh's Super Hexagon on GamerRanks without disclosing that she had provided the voice of the announcer in the game. Shocking. GamerRanks editor-in-chief Ian Miles Chung then personally adds a disclosure retroactively. Ooh, that's what it's after an actor. William Usher posts that GamerRanks had added a disclosure to an article after Gamergate intervention. Eric Kane of Forbes magazine wrote that Feminist Frequency is dead wrong about The Witcher 3. He thinks it's great and not all that sexy. Adrian Chimilars has discussed Feminist Frequency and The Witcher 3 as well. So that's what it was all about yesterday. It was all about three witches and Anita Sarkeesian, which is nice. Has anyone played Witcher 3? Any of you sexy people Witcher 3 fans?
I bet my friend is probably gonna play it. Oh, did Kevin leave?
Has he? I wonder why it got so quiet. I'm going to get going now. Yeah, he's gone. Great. We lost him. Deeply sadly.
Well, you wanna? Would it be all right if I got Adam Hart in here?
I would love more people. Yeah, that's
Okay.
absolutely fine. I'm not sure if I've met Adam Hart, but yeah, sure.
He was in my other stream the other day.
Okay, cool. Let me put the link in the sidebar again so you can send it to.
So I'm just gonna. I sent him the link. Now I'm just waiting for him to look at it.
Cool. There's an idea. Do you ever played any of the Witcher games?
I have not actually, but I can almost guarantee one of my friends is
A witch.
well, I'm a witch, but he's probably gonna get like all three of them. He's a hardcore PC gamer. I'm more console, but I do occasional PC.
I like my PC. I mean,
everyone likes PC.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have the money to have a lot of choices about other consoles as well. So I just stumped for quite a good PC. Get on with that. Steam and all that goodness.
Yeah.
Space Engineers is my thing.
They have Steam for PS3.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That needs to happen more. I presume it will. I think that is why you're getting all these decent crossovers. PS4 realised that Steam is a real thing. It's well loved. It's got a big market, and they can't be ignored. They have to play along with Steam. And good show too, because they start, taking in some of Steam's business models. That will be helpful, and they're, Steam have a good relation with their customers, and that's because they do work hard on it. So it'd be good if, like, PlayStation people, Sony started developing some of that ethos. As a result, unlikely though, probably go the other way.
Yeah. Well, I was just I was looking because you know Life is Strange, that Square Enix game.
Right, I've not played it, but
Um, I was trying to look to see how I could download it, and apparently, yeah, they have a Steam app for PS3 and Xbox.
cool. I tell you, that would be really useful. Well, my favourite game, Space Engineers, has apparently got an exclusive, I think, with Sony. And I can understand why that's happened now, because I mean, the mods on the Steam Workshop would be really useful to anyone who bought the game on PS4, because the mods that sort of make the game. A lot of us were moaning that, like, whoa, really? You're taking it to the console? People are going to think it's a really bad game if they're playing it without mods and that kind of thing, which isn't true. But like, they wouldn't think it's as good a game as everyone else does, and that might make people think it's a bad game. But now I know that, like, they're doing stuff with Steam already, it makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
Mm.
Um,
Mm.
okay, I think he's seen it. He might be coming in soon.
Oh, cool. Cool. Well, I'll get you set up, and then I'll run off and make another cup of tea. Because one of the things that slowed me down a bit is that, like, I'm getting absolutely dry mouthed all the time. You sort of have
Well,
to keep
yeah, you're
stopping.
smoking so much weed.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I'm totally cotton mouthed. We were going to talk tonight about what's happening with them bashing on Rogue stuff, but I think everyone's gone now. So, or Kevin's gone rather, and he knew more about that than me. So that kind of wouldn't work, unfortunately.
I have a picture for you. If that would be all right, I'm gonna do screen share. Oh,
Yeah.
oh, I have more pop-ups now. Yay! But can you see that?
Yeah, great. That's great.
That's pretty crazy, huh?
Yeah. You know, it almost, I get quite sort of, what's the word, wistful when I see people doing that. Like at these big festivals, or like you get a room of people at some crazy party where they're all fucking hoods and that, and they're blazing these stupid ass size joints. Because all they do is waste a vast quantity of gear, getting a very small amount of people, incredibly intensively stoned, and very, very, you know, it really goes nowhere. They just sat down and smoked that joint. Did get about a third of the way through and then be 8 months. No, we've got to
It
do it all
looks
in
like
one. Yeah.
it looks like Adam won't be coming in.
All right.
Apparently, he's at work. So,
Oh,
but
fair enough. Another time.
I am having a stream on my channel on Wednesday.
Yeah.
I wanted to start a newer series, another series. Like, I still haven't come up with a proper name for it, but I want it to be like getting you over hump day or something like that.
Yeah.
I wrote something really good on that, but I was like tired out of my mind and I forgot it.
Yeah. Hump day. Yeah.
Wait, let me.
Easy is to go for something that rhymes with hump, but not much does. Yeah, odd word. Or the hump day pump.
Um, I'm looking for that. I did say something. Game pumps for the weak slump. That's what I wrote.
About the
Because Wednesday's like usually the day when everyone's like, "Damn, how am I ever gonna get through the week?" Oh, what's this? Game pumps for the weak slump. Nice.
Yes. Yeah, what?
So I don't know, man. Everyone's gone. I don't really have anyone to add to the.
Yeah, I've run out of things to say. Yeah. Perhaps we should knock it on the head. I think we've gone as far as we can, really.
All right,
Yeah.
but thank you for having me, man.
Oh, it's been wonderful. Well, thank you for coming. And,
No problem.
It's been lovely having you. Right, I should stop the broadcast then. Well, thanks to everyone who listened. Who's listening. Sorry we run out of shit and gave you all that dead air and stuff. But, yeah, things just collapsed really. And it's a bit of a lazy Monday. You can't expect much of it. Anyway, thanks again and bye.